Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brew-Built X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brew-Built Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brew-Built line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brew-Built X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brew-Built Conicals. You can trust Brew-Built with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brew-Built at morebeer.com.
Today's Sunday session is brought to you thanks to the fine folks at More Beer. Visit them right now at morebeer.com.
Feels like work. Shooting the shit for 2 hours, drinking beer and talking beer. What a wonderful experience.
Can we not have the barf bucket near my mixing board?
I think everybody could read the book.
I knew you were going to use this book as an excuse to quit doing this show.
Mrs. Bub, if you want, I can mail you the Bub Timer.
Yeah, Newcastle, especially in the can. Have you ever had it in the can? No, I have not had it in the can.
Notice I closed my eyes and I concentrated really hard.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
All right. Hey, good morning or good afternoon or good evening, whenever you might be listening to this program. This is The Session. I'm your host today, Justin Crosley. Thanks for having me on the show and in your earbuds. It's nice to be here. Today's show is brought to you by the fine folks at More Beer, of course. You know we love those guys over at More Beer. And they've teamed up with our other friend, John Palmer, to make 27 beer kits based on the recipes found in Brewing Classic Styles, written by Palmer and Jamil Zainasheff. The kits are true to style, and all are within BJCP style guidelines, enabling them to be easily entered into that upcoming competition. Buy 2 kits and get fast and free shipping from More Beer. Go check it out. Hey, welcome to the show, everybody.
Hi, friend.
Hi. Nice to see you guys.
Great to be here.
No in-studio guest today, and that's all right. We get a little breathing room.
No pants.
You know.
Right,
take
them off.
We don't have to wear pants. But we do have Bent Paddle Brewing Company from Duluth, Minnesota, Beardy.
Yes.
Great
city.
A Minnesota beer company for you.
Yeah.
Just for you.
Specifically and truly and only.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
I was actually just out there, got to try some of their beer.
Is that right?
Pretty good. Yeah. So
Visiting family or?
No, I was out there for a beer festival and conference.
Okay.
That was in July. All Pints North. Great fest out there.
Nice.
If you're in the area.
Okay.
What if you're not in the area?
Then you should get to the area.
Okay, got
and
it.
then go to it.
Just checking.
Yeah.
When we were there for the Homebrewers Conference, I was pleased with the amount of lager styles
Oh, my God.
Yes.
available.
Jesus Christ.
And there are some fantastic new breweries, at least new to me, that have been open in the last year or so that are just killing it with lagers out there, even more so.
And we've got a lager today we're going to be trying from Bent Paddle. We've got a Pilsner that they sent in.
That'd be great.
And an ESB.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I found interesting.
Nice. They really know how to bribe us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for them, it's probably like, well, look, guys, I don't know if it's going to sell, but here's the thing, just putting it out there. Let's do an ale.
But it's different in Minnesota, I think. It's one of their flagship beers, so I'm sure it does well.
Yeah.
And you booked this show, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
So I feel like you requested requested exactly which beers.
Zero IPA.
Yeah.
No, it is interesting that occasionally you have a brewery that hits on these kind of off styles that seem weird for the region.
Yeah.
for me, I think like Back in Black, the 2NA Black IPA.
Yeah.
Nobody makes one. But they seem to have been making it for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's certain styles, and I can't think of any more off the top of my head, but like the ESB in lager country.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very big differential, I guess, in between those two styles. So I like it when some craft breweries can sit there and make a style that you wouldn't think normally would take off.
Yeah.
And it does well for them in that little region.
Yeah. And normal's changing all the time. I think... I see a lot of people I know that have been drinking hoppy beers, really hoppy and strong beers.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people moving back down.
Yeah.
And I think there's some intersection with new drinkers starting out. They're also drinking on the lower end because they're not ready for the bigger end.
Sure.
So that's why there's some demand for lagers and lighter beers like ESBs, or the beer's probably not called an ESB at the bar or something.
Yeah. Well, even look at our conversation on the last show with Fieldwork and 2NA. Yeah. IBUs are coming down. The perception of bitterness in IPAs even are coming down. So, all across the board, people are wanting a little more balance, a little less aggressive hops.
You can drink and have a couple pints. Your palate gets tired when you're drinking a 8.5%, 95 IBU beer.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Give me that ESB, bro. Let's go.
Yeah.
All things in cycles, which we get to taste today.
Yeah.
We will have an IPA on the program. And also it looks like a cold press coffee black ale.
Oh
yeah.
So,
I like that.
Yeah, so a few different things here we get to try with Bent Paddle Brewing Company, and we're going to be talking to their head brewer, Charlie, today. So stick around for that. Let me get through a few things here. What do I have to do? Well, our Oktoberfest is coming up. Our announcements are brought to you today by Drake's Brewing Company. Check out their Bright Side Extra Brut IPA. They do great things. They've also got a new, beer garden tap room in Sacramento.
That's right.
Yeah, they're expanding all the time. They're one of my favorites. Go check them out at drinkdrakes.com. Our first ever Concord Oktoberfest is happening October 12th and 13th. Tickets are on sale right now. You can go to concordoktoberfest.com. And you only need tickets for the beers, but the whole park is open. There's a giant kids area with carnival rides and animals and games and bounce houses. We got great music. I've got a 20-piece German orchestra playing.
Wow.
So they're going to be...
all Klaus Nomi all day.
That's right. We have some traditional Bavarian dancers that are going to come and perform. Wow. And then I've got 20 different craft breweries serving... mostly German-style lagers, some other lagers outside of the German style.
Making a real Oktoberfest thing.
Yeah, so, don't come complain to me that you couldn't find a hazy IPA.
Walk across the street.
Because that's all I'm going to tell you is that the Hop Grenade's open. There's not even a fence in between you and me and the Hop Grenade.
Hey, this beer's too drinkable.
So, I don't know, branch out a little bit and come enjoy some great Oktoberfest beer. In fact, an Oktoberfest beer I'm excited about. I went with Beardy, actually, the new Mike Hess tasting room in, is that considered Walnut Creek?
Walnut Creek, yes.
Walnut Creek there, and had their Oktoberfest, which is going to be available at our Oktoberfest. They call it
Oktober Hess.
Oktober Hess.
Yep.
Jesus.
That way you know where it's from.
Yeah.
Right.
I really enjoyed that beer.
Yeah, it was on the more Meriton side, but it was still a very nice Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to have that beer. Drake's told me last week that their Oktoberfest will also be available at our Oktoberfest.
Nice.
So, a lot of different German styles, too. I know that a Doppelbock is being brewed by Epidemic Ales just for the event.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's exciting. I know about some Pilsners. There's some Firestone Walker Oktoberfest, and hopefully a barrel-aged Oktoberfest that they did last year. We're waiting to find out about that one.
It's just like a beer fest within a family Oktoberfest.
Well, you know how we roll, Tasty. That's what I was going for. Is
really doing it up bigger than most people would.
Do a family Oktoberfest, but make the beer, the focus, like we do here at the Brewing Network. So,
who's sponsoring the vomitorium? What's going on there?
That's sponsored by Beardy this year.
Great.
Wait, what?
He'll be just hanging out
running
there.
it?
Yeah, just running the vomitorium. You can get tickets now at Concord Oktoberfest, or you can get them the day of. And a ticket is, check this out, it's $25. That gets you a half-liter commemorative stein, like a traditional-looking stein, the heavy glass and everything, and 2 half-liter fills for $25. So it's a great deal. You have to buy the commemorative stein to come in and drink. So don't come talk to me and say, I just want a plastic cup full of beer. Ain't happening. Come get the commemorative stein. Share it with your spouse if you don't want that much beer. You get the stein and 2 great half-liter pours for $25. So if you want to be certain that you get the commemorative glass, go buy your tickets in advance at ConcordOktoberfest.com. Or try your luck when you get there. We'll see what happens. I have no way to know how many people are going to show up this year. We got a lot of interest already all around the city. People asking me a lot of questions I don't have answers to. Like, when is it?
Yeah. Who are you? Why are you in my bedroom?
Yeah. Will there be beer?
Get out of my yard.
But it is a 2-night event. We're doing it from 6 to 9 p.m. on Friday the 12th, which will be cool. A little nighttime action.
Oh, yeah.
And then from 12 to 6 on Saturday. Yeah. The city asked me to do it for longer, and I was like, listen, I have learned my lesson about that. Lucky I'm doing 6 hours. Springfest is only ever 4 hours. But, of course, it's a little different. You're there tasting beer the whole time from 62 different breweries. So I'm hoping that the mellowness of this one will allow me to do 6 hours without incident.
Are people allowed to pee on the grass?
No.
Sitting at the tables?
No.
No? Oh.
Well, you can pee in your lederhosen sitting at the tables. That's what lederhosen is for.
Oh, okay. If you use them properly.
If you use them properly, then no one will know that you're just sitting there peeing in your lederhosen.
So does it absorb the pee, or does it block it so it runs down your leg and then your socks are
I think it just hides it.
Isn't there a front flap?
No, not really, no. The flap you see is more because they're like overalls, and sometimes people wear them down, and then it looks like there's a flap. But no, there's not a pee flap. No, it just hides that you peed, basically.
Because it just doesn't show that they're wet.
Yeah.
It just runs on the inside.
Why? Well, I guess because the lines are super long at Oktoberfest. I know they're not traditional, like, modern Oktoberfest garb, but they're more, traditional German villager garb, but...
I don't know. I think that I never had trouble going to the bathroom at Oktoberfest.
Well, you're American, and you're much more refined than most of Europe.
But also, like, the line wasn't so long, like I could get into the bathroom. If you're in a beer tent, you can get into a bathroom.
Okay.
They have 12 giant troughs in every bathroom.
Yeah.
So it's either a rumor, it's either fake news that people peed in the lederhosen and that's what they're for, or they only recently sorted out the bathroom situation. I don't know.
You don't lose your seat?
Well, I feel like it's a combination of both, maybe, because they're obviously very traditional village kind of, decoration thing, and then probably some tourist goes, what these are good for? Hey, Chet.
Clearly an Australian.
Didn't you piss your lederhosen? No, Dustin. It seems like that's something would happen.
I will be wearing my lederhosen, though. Pee in them or not, I will be wearing them.
Wet or dry.
Yeah.
You should have a lederhosen vendor.
I want one, and I'm trying.
That would be cool. Yeah. I know they're expensive, but I want a pair, and I don't know where to get them.
Yeah, I'm trying. I found one online vendor, but I think that they're based locally, and I'm trying to get through to them to see if they'll come and sell dirndls and lederhosens and hats. The stupid hat. You gotta have that.
The stupid hat, dude, for sure. Absolutely.
These are things that we need. Yeah.
That stupid hat. Hey, come celebrate the Stupid Hat Festival.
I think that's the German term for it.
Yeah.
Stupid hat.
Die stupid hat.
Stupid Hop. All right. Well, I will update the website when I have a full brewery list, but those were just a few so that you know who's coming, and you can go to ConcordOktoberfest.com and check it out. It's Oktoberfest with a K, by the way. All right. What else? Not a whole lot of announcements today. Do your Amazon shopping through the BN. Click the Amazon link. It's a great way to do your shopping and support the BN at the same time. You can subscribe and join the BN Army for as little as $2 a month. It enters you into the More Beer monthly donation giveaway, and that's a chance to win $100 to spend over at More Beer. So do that. They've been a strong supporter, and so have all of you. So thanks for that. We draw a winner every single month. You can get updates and pictures and stories over on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. send feedback to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com and send your show ideas directly to bevo@thebrewingnetwork.com. I've been saying feedback because I thought it would make it easier, but send them directly to Bevo, that's BEEVO, @thebrewingnetwork.com. And we're always looking for show ideas. We like to interview the people you're looking to hear from. And, while we may not answer all of them, because some of you send stupid ideas, we do try to listen to most of them. So a lot of the breweries that you hear on this program are from listeners like you submitting the folks that you'd like to hear from. So do that, bevo@thebrewingnetwork.com. Okay. Random thing. I walk into the studio today, and how many are there? I walk into the studio today, and there are 12 cases of Red Bull sitting behind my desk. And we don't have a full liquor license here at the Hop Grenade, so I was trying to figure out what it is we're doing with Red Bull and why the fuck it's behind my desk.
Take a hint.
And all there is with it is a note from a Matthew that says, "Hey, Justin, heard about your B vitamin deficiency. Hope this helps." So some listener dropped off 12 cases of Red Bull. I don't even know what to do with the damn. They're sitting behind me now. If you're watching on the video,
it's on video. You're taking up half your space back.
Yeah, Jay has actually been in his chair for 4 hours. He can't get out.
And I don't drink Red Bull. It's a funny joke.
Are they high in B12?
I guess.
I didn't know that was a good source.
112% of your daily value or something.
Each one is 112?
Yeah, here's the nutrition.
Here's the marketing.
Yeah, B12, 120%.
Oh.
B6, 360%.
There you go.
Yeah. It will also give you 250% of your daily value of cancer.
Right.
But your B12 levels will be nice where they need to be.
Yeah. I've got, thank you for your concern. I believe I've got my B12 deficiency under wraps.
There we go, baby. Keep them feet.
I went to the doctor for once, and they took care of that a long time ago. So you must be back in the episodes a little bit. But thank you for the gesture. And now I got to figure out what the fuck to do with 12 cases of Red Bull.
Yeah, not sleep for 2 weeks.
Next time, can you make it like Monster or Bang or something like? I thought Red Bull was out of business. I don't know.
Yeah,
not anymore.
Yeah. So
I'm thinking how you might regift it. It could be a good Twitter game. Where should Justin regift this?
Well, I've already thought I kind of want to go to the dive bar that I frequent, and because they need it, and I'll just be like, hey, how much credit are you going to give me on my tab?
When will I have to pay for a drink again?
For these 12 cases of Red Bull, man. It's a lot of Red Bull.
It is a lot of Red Bull. A little bit of vodka. I think they can make a lot of drinks.
Especially those bartenders.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So I might just wheel them over there and be like, hey, man, help a brother out.
Very good move.
I don't know what the hell else I'm going to do with them. Bevo's taking a couple cases for family or something.
Yeah, my crackhead family loves it, so I'm going to drop that off at their trailer on the way home.
They pour it in a sheet pan, boil off they make ice out of it and smoke it.
Ice in quotation.
I want to try that. I think that would
things
work.
About it.
I think that's
why not?
There's a show about that, right?
Yeah.
Breaking Bad or something.
Breaking Red Bull.
I think smoking anything works. So I think
you catch it on fire, you inhale the
and it works.
Most things burn.
Doesn't matter what it is.
You ever heard that thing about smoking the red skin off of peanuts?
No.
That'll get you high, supposedly.
Really?
It doesn't work.
How desperate were you that day? Or were you just
we were
like...
desperate.
You're just...
Well, I was like, man, what can we do? Because I know smoking banana peels is a joke, but I heard also this, so we got like a pound of peanuts at the store, my friends and I, and we sat on my bed and shelled peanuns. We got a whole bunch of fucking red skin.
That sounds painful.
Packed him in the weed pipe.
Nothing happened?
Almost died. Just fucking coughing like a motherfucker. That's pretty stupid.
You didn't look it up on Snopes first? Or does Snopes work for drugs?
Internet.
There should be a Snopes for drugs. Things are for things that you can smoke.
It's called dopes.
Yeah, exactly. Things that will, myths that get you high.
Yeah. Put the slug up your butt and you'll see stars.
It'd be a great website. I mean, you have to have a team of people willing to try all these things.
Right, everything.
Sure. For sure.
Dopes. I like it. Anyway, I guess thanks, for the concern, Matthew.
Yeah, thanks for the pending heart attack.
I hope he works for the Red Bull distributor or something and didn't go buy all this Red Bull. That stuff's expensive, isn't it?
Is it out of date?
As you're talking about this, I had a conversation with somebody at the Firestone Walker Festival.
Okay.
Oh.
And he worked for Red Bull.
Named Matthew.
Named Matthew, sure. But he was like, would Justin want some Red Bull?
Oh, my God. And you said yes?
I mean, I think I might have.
Why would you say yes?
I don't think I said yes, but I think I was just like, okay.
Because it's free shit. And she was trying to look out. Your girl's looking out for her boy, dude.
Because what I'm going to be like, no.
Yeah, of course I know.
Justin's been through the living in the desert crackhead phase.
I work I work for a manure distributor. Would Justin like bags of shit?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, yeah.
It's free.
Why would I say no?
You could use them as fertilizer.
He already works with 4 or 5 of them, so it's fine.
You can find a use for anything.
Come into my studio. It smells the same, but now there are 5 bags of manure back
right. But at least you're not paying those ones.
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway, yeah, I think I got to trade it in for credit at the dive bar.
Well, see, there you go. You're welcome.
I think that'd be dope.
Yeah, that was Bevo's thought when she said yes.
Isn't there like a barter website for local businesses?
Oh, probably.
That would you could post it on there. Like, look, I got how many ounces of Red Bull?
Right.
What do you give me for it?
Yeah, that seems like more work.
Yeah, or you could just go stand out at the corner of the park.
Yeah, dude, and like sell it, or like going into a concert at the pavilion.
Oh yeah.
Get an ice chest.
Get the cooler. Times are
50
tough.
50 cents, a buck a piece. Let's go. I take Square. I take Venmo. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Do we have a Twitter game today?
We do have a Twitter game, Justin. Thank you.
All right. Twitter game is brought to you today by the Wine and Hop Shop. You can go to wineandhop.com. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years in Madison, Wisconsin. And BN listeners get $8 flat rate shipping on orders under 25 pounds. Just enter BN shipping in the notes field of the shopping cart, and the discount will be taken after checkout. And for you Madison residents, order your homebrew supplies online at wineandhop.com, and you can pick them up at Working Draft Beer Company, which is located on Wilson Street, right across from Central Park. And they'll waive the shipping and give you half off your first beer. So that's a good deal. Check them out at wineandhop.com. All right, what's our Twitter game today?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that. We've been talking a lot about Jamil's new show, Love Strong.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that.
But what we haven't been doing is talking about any guests, except for Liz.
Right. The co-host.
To interrogate whether or not he's credible.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I feel like Twitter should let us know a first good guest for Jamil's show. Like the very first show, right out the box, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Love Strong, what's the guest? First guest, let's go.
That's a great one.
Thank you.
Good Twitter game. All right, let us know. You know our Twitter handle, and we'll give you a prize, maybe a case of Red Bull.
So I was thinking about that.
Ship
but
it out.
That's going to cost us a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, just cans, I guess. I'll do a can of Red Bull. I don't know. All right. And I think we got some time for some feedback. Feedback's brought to you today by Beer Law Center. Go to beerlawcenter.com and check it out. John does a great job protecting our trademark. He can do the same for you, or do your TTB filings or anything else you need for your brewery on the legal side. Go to beerlawcenter.com. All right. Giles, or Giles, I never know. I always think it's Giles, right?
I think it's Giles.
But I got corrected once by a listener who was like, it's Giles, and I've never been able to go back. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and I was actually on his he has a podcast, and he interviewed me for it, and I still don't remember his name.
Okay.
So,
all right, well, he writes in, Hey Brewing Network, I've been listening to your most recent interview with the 21st Amendment and Fieldwork. That was last week's show. And I have to say, I completely agree with you that Pale Ale needs to come back. As a resident of the Denver area, I'm lucky to have access to Great Divide's Denver Pale and Oscar Blues Dale's Pale, all easy to get, but I want more variety in the style. My craving for easy drinking, refreshing beers pushes me more toward Pilsners and cream ales. So anyway, that's my 2 cents, and I think more of us need to speak up and call for more better pale ales. So he says, also, I get to go to JBF for the first time. Hope I get to see you there. Yeah, I'll be there. Good Giles.
Guy.
Good Giles.
G.
So yeah, I mean, everybody here agrees about the pale ale. I don't know that a few of us speaking up about pale ales is going to make much of a difference. It's
well, I mean, yeah.
And that was the point I was trying to make too about it's not really us beer nerds that even like dictate the beer world anymore. We spark ideas.
Yeah.
I think
We're the 1%.
But yeah, we're the 1% now. It used to be that we weren't the 1%.
Oh, if it wasn't for the beer nerds, nobody would be drinking the damn beer.
Exactly.
Now the masses, the hipsters.
Right. We've been overrun.
Yes.
But that said, keep asking for them, I guess. Keep asking your local bar, your local liquor store, and everything. But, my beloved Pale 31 is gone for probably that very reason.
Well, that's all business there.
Yeah.
Brewers like them. I think we discussed that on the show last time.
Right.
Everybody all the brewers liked them.
Right.
Just the customers aren't after them as much.
I like to think that we do kind of help to nudge the trend a little bit, because if you remember several years ago, we were all on about session beers.
Right.
Session beer. 2 years after we started talking about that, what happened? Session beer, session IPAs. People started drinking more session beers.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do the same for pales, dude. Just
keep talking about it.
Just keep talking about it.
Yeah, we can do that. I feel that we single-handedly started the sour beer revolution.
I believe so as well.
In the same vein.
1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, if you think about it, Rare Barrel did a lot for that. Rare Barrel wouldn't be here without us.
We invented Rare Barrel.
Right. So
we saved Cantillon.
Yep.
And then we invented the Rare Barrel. So let's be honest here.
We should all. You know what we should do is we should go on Big Brother. I think we would do great at it.
What does that have to do with anything?
How does that connect?
It's a manipulation game. It's just look. Maybe do you have to point out every flaw in a joke? Maybe it was just
just
stupid.
Didn't know. I didn't
just move on.
I wanted to laugh.
I want a bigger premise for the punch.
Yeah. Look, I'm tired, Tasty.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying very hard.
He's got a baby now. He gets tired.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, I just masturbate a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
also
a lot because you have a baby.
Well, right.
Or more so because Taryn had a baby.
Because Taryn had a baby, and now I'm disgusting. I also don't shower anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the two of you have changed in that way that like once the baby comes, you don't love each other as much because all your love is there for the baby?
No, that's ridiculous. That's like Trump saying I shouldn't exercise because the heart has a finite number of beats.
Right. You're not experiencing that.
No, you don't give love. It's not like I have 12 loves.
Yeah.
How much can I give to this person? I'm sorry, I can't pay attention to you.
Right.
No.
I've heard that's a thing, especially with mothers. Like, oh, well, it's nice to have you, JP, but I'm busy.
That's probably a lot of postpartum depression.
Okay.
I would imagine. I don't know. I mean, I don't experience it, but I'm not a mother.
Right.
The 12 love theory makes sense to me.
Right. Yeah.
I have 12 loves.
Yeah.
How many do you want?
Yeah. Hang on, I'm going to put that in my book. Chapter 13.
12 loves.
12 loves.
One hobby to left, sex. Another 11 are all different.
So in the morning, it's better be nice to me.
Right.
I have 12 loves today.
I'm at the 1 out, 1 in limit of my loves right now.
Well, that's good enough, I guess. I'll give your love back to you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It's a regift.
All right. Well, keep asking for pale ales. I know I do.
I do by drinking them. That's what happens.
Can we also mark if a pale ale is cloudy or not? That should be a thing we should complain about too.
Yeah, I
Ask
agree.
for, not
in
complain.
fact, Eric, get your ass in here, will you, please?
Yeah, explain yourself.
You can use that. Yeah. I have a question about that.
There are 2 pale ales in this room. Neither of them are clear.
Well, Eric here is our general manager here at the Hop Grenade, and
He's redheaded, so give him a break.
So I have a question. Are we, and if we aren't, is there a reason? Are we labeling every single beer, whether it's cloudy or not? So even if it doesn't come in as like a hazy pale ale, right? But it pours cloudy. Are we listing that? Like this is not a clear beer in any way, shape, or form?
Are we warning people, I guess what you're saying?
Yeah, informing them.
Yeah, let them know whether it's. I ask all the time, is it clear or hazy?
Right.
Yes, and, instead of having to
Not
ask,
being genuine, are we doing that? It seems like we're not.
We're not on all of them. It's a lot of it is what it gets described to us by.
Yeah.
A lot of places just have IPA, and you have to kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's a problem with, I'm probably asking you as well, Tasty.
I think I've already discussed
What
this.
if we did take that upon ourselves? So we put the beer on tap, right? We give it a pour. We realize it's not a clear pale ale.
Right.
Do you think that breweries would be upset if we took it upon ourselves to put,
You probably sell more.
unfiltered or
Turbidity
I don't know
factor.
what. Yeah.
1 to 5.
Hazy.
Turbidity factor.
Just hazy.
The word hazy sells as much as the word IPA.
Haze level or is it hazy?
Do you think you get pushback?
No, I don't think I would get any pushback from it at all. It would just be like some people were saying. It might even sell more.
It might sell more.
Yeah.
It's almost. Let me ask you this. Do you think it would make more sense actually to list the beer if it's clear? In other words, is it less often that it's a clear beer than it is a hazy beer so that it would be less work to even just put that it's clear rather than put that it's hazy?
Sometimes we try to keep, the clear, like certain lines is always clear, certain lines always hazy. Pale ales, it's kind of a crapshoot. We don't really know.
Right.
We are about to tap a clear pale ale, like any minute now.
Okay.
So there you go.
Yay.
Well, on my 1 to 5 scale, that would be a 0. Clear would be a 0 on the scale.
See,
no turbidity.
I like your scale idea for ease of use. The problem with that is that it requires education. And so now we have to get everybody used to this damn scale before they know what it means.
I could have a picture that shows you what a 1 is, a 2. And whether you say 3 or 4 or 3 or 2, it wouldn't make that much difference.
No,
That drinker.
I understand that.
Okay.
But here's what my bar staff has to deal with. Hey, what the fuck's a turbidity scale? Like every time they see it on the menu, and so now they have to train every customer for the next year what a turbidity scale is until it becomes an industry standard, right?
Well, yeah, we're on the bleeding edge. Right?
And you're not in the business of education.
Well,
yeah, we don't want to make any industry standards.
I don't know that I'm ready to be. We could discuss being the pioneer of this, but in the meantime, isn't there just a simple way to say like
is there clear H or C or something?
Yeah.
Or just if the name is like dog vomit looking pale ale,
right?
Can it say hazy dog vomit looking pale ale? You just put the word hazy in front of it,
right.
Or in parentheses after. Hazy.
Yeah, it gets complicated with Untapped and stuff like that. People,
who cares? Or do you? I mean,
well,
I didn't mean to be super aggressive, but
this is why I'm asking about the brewers, because ultimately the brewers might end up, if they catch wind of it, the brewers might care. They might end up going, "Hey, I hear you. I guess it wasn't clear, but we also produce a hazy pale ale, and that's not it."
They might, but they also might not ever know or care. In the meantime, you might sell 20% more product, and then I don't have to throw up.
But what they'll know, because what Tasty's saying is someone will sit here and enter that beer in the way we described it because they don't find it on Untapped the way the brewer had described it, right? So if they go such and such pale ale, well, now we've put up such and such hazy pale ale,
right?
And when you go to do your Untapped bullshit, like you're like, oh well, I can't find it now. I'm uploading a new beer, so the brewers will find out.
Sure. Well, yeah. Okay. But how much do you really care about someone else's third-party business? Like Untapped. Like, do you really care if someone...
the brewers care. And
do
the
they,
brewers,
though? I don't think that they really do.
But I think more so they'll care that we're describing their beer in a way that they didn't. And even though our description is clearly more accurate, for lack of a better term, clearly more accurate.
Unclearly.
Nice.
They're the ones who describe the beer. It's not my place to read. I'm not saying don't do this. I'm a little devil's advocate here, because if I'm a brewer, well, I'm smarter for one. So I would be like, yeah, you're right. I should put hazy in the name.
Well,
but there are brewers who'll be like, listen, that's not it's not clear, but it's not hazy, and we have a hazy one, and that's not it.
Well, then you sell some other brewer's beer that doesn't bitch about things like that.
Basically.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's easy for a brewer to change something like that on Untapped.
Yeah.
It's super easy. You send them an email saying, hey, we have a duplicate entry under our brewery, and Untapped takes care of it.
Yeah.
It's hands off.
Do you think it would make a difference if we just put the hazy description at the end instead of the beginning, and there's always a dash or an asterisk next to it or something, so that some ways to make it look more like it's not part of the name and more a part of the... Well, there's a name and then a description, right?
Right, yeah, you put it in the description underneath.
Right, so instead of pale ale, it just says hazy pale ale. But leave the name alone.
Yeah. What do you think, Eric? Should we do this?
It's something that we can definitely see how people gravitate towards. So I think it's a good idea.
And you might be there. So there's two things that will happen here. For one, we might sell more beer, like you said. But the other thing, for folks like us who are looking for a clear beer, and it used to, and now that the now that even the descriptions are clouded, God, with the puns today, I can't just order a pale ale anymore.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Without asking, I have to ask, and I don't like talking to people very much, so I'd rather just know. Oh well, that.
If I'd known, I wouldn't have got this beer. I'd have got a different.
Something I've been wanting you guys to do for literally years since this hazy thing came out.
Way to come up with the idea, Justin.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, that's what I'm here for, guys.
I feel like this is my lot in life. But honestly, because and I knew that this pale ale from Fieldwork would have some haze to it, probably.
Right.
I mean, I didn't know. I assumed, and I was comfortable with
safe bet.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there have been times where I've gotten a beer that should not be this way, but it is this way. And it's like, well, I just feel let down, even though I don't pay. But I don't say anything because I don't pay for it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to bitch about too much.
Right.
But if I go out, I'm very, very cautious. And what it does, to be honest, for me, it reduces my amount of choice that I have when I go out to a bar because I don't know, and I just don't like the flavor impact and the body impact of the hazy beers. So I don't want to order them, and I don't want to drink them. So I'm only going to go with what I know, and it limits my ability to branch out.
Yeah.
Unless I ask, but
unless there's more description.
But again, I don't fucking want to talk to the bartender because I don't want to be that guy. What is that? Can I get a taste of the 4, the 9, and the 7, please? But in that order.
Yeah, right.
I don't want that.
I go like, what's clear, and what pale ales do you have that are clear? And I start right there.
Yeah, and so that's obviously a way to do it. I still think it should be on the menu.
Well, the menu would take all that off the server's responsibility. The menu would say.
Yeah, now they can just say, "Read the menu, asshole." All right, Bevo, tell Eric, who I see is going back to work, that we're going to discuss this further. Thank you. All right.
He's in agreement. Oh, he's giving you the finger now. I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the fingers. I think it's a thumbs up.
Oh, a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Different finger.
He has long thumbs.
He's very excited by it, I'm sure. I can't fix that.
Yeah, we got a feedback deal.
Tried to fix it last week. That's the whole fucking thing.
All right, look at it?
I got to get through this feedback. Here's a long one full of expletives.
Oh.
A lot. So I'm probably going to edit it a little bit.
I was going to go through it. I'm like, no. It's all caps.
The only reason I'm going to go through it is that I like the ending.
Okay.
He says, "Hey, anti-haze a-holes, I need to rant about shitty effing Trube can IPA breweries." I've got a local brewery to me in New England that's a few years old, and they've been canning for about a year, and there's the biggest effing circle jerk about these guys being better than Treehouse, which I don't know who they are, but I guess another New England brewery. And all that nonsense that everyone says. They make some really good Trube cans sometimes. I didn't know that's a thing now that I'll call them Trube cans. He says, not my favorite style, but whatever. 2 months ago, I had 2 different beers explode from them while being kept in my admittedly warmer than I'd like apartment. So keep it cold, he says. I know there's a chance my beers might get oxidized, but that's the price I pay to keep the girlfriend from killing me or having a Keezer and a beer fridge. Whatever, he says, with more expletives. I just want to break in here. I don't know that warm or cold has anything to do with oxidation, does it?
It'll speed it up.
Speeds it up? Okay.
Yeah. Re-fermentation.
Got it. Okay. He said, then it effing happens again today. 2 more cans, $22 for a 4-pack, blew up. So he says, I said, F this, and I made a call-out post on a local Facebook group. And the brewer, the effing brewer, he says, responded.
F.
And he says, what do you think he responded? An apology? Effing nope.
Oh, F.
What he said was, this is a teaching point for anyone storing beer, especially fresh hoppy beer. Cold is best.
What a dick.
That's what the brewer answered.
Wow. So, all this yeast I left in the can, huh?
The brewer's a dick.
Oh, okay.
So he goes on to say, I'm just going to read it. Like, no fucking shit, cold is best, is what he says. But this doesn't change the fact that you sold unfermented, OT-infected hop garbage for top dollar. So to us now, he says, please tell me I'm an idiot and that normal, proper beer should explode 2 months old and that this is all my fault. Am I taking effing crazy pills? Is it okay that beers re-ferment and blow the F up?
No.
F that shit.
No. It's not. And you know what? I would call the TTB, and I would fucking complain about that piece of shit brewery. You don't do that to your customers. First of all, you don't give them bottle bombs and then go, oh, well, you should have kept them cold to fix my mistake. You suck your own dick. I don't know.
I can't believe that's their response to
Yeah.
I can't believe that's their response to a liability like that.
Yeah,
they could legitimately hurt somebody with exploding cans and bottles.
And so, not only should they work to smooth that over, but it's a blatant lie, right? I mean, warm beer doesn't explode if it has been
It should not happen.
and fermented properly.
If that were the case, everything at Bevmo would have exploded.
Also, we're not talking about like sitting in a 90-degree car here. He's talking about his apartment. So it's his 68 degrees, 70 degrees.
He might live in hell. You don't really know where he lives.
Well, he's probably in New England, and it's not all that hot.
Right.
That's just bad logic. That keeping it cold would
keep it from.
If he violated Rule 1, everything after that is your fault.
And
that's bullshit.
This is what I've been saying. My main concern with this style is it allows for dicks like this to have successful businesses selling beer like this because it allows for shitty brewing practice.
Yeah, and just can right out of the cone. Everything in the cone, you can put that right in the cans.
You can't tell the difference between an unfinished New England IPA and a finished one. Mm-hmm. Right. And so you don't even know.
Yeah, there are things that are finished, and there are things that are very blatantly not finished. If you have sludge in the can, that's the sign. That's not right.
Wouldn't you also say, though, that aside from this style, that this brewer is not a very good brewer to begin with?
Yes.
Because, well, first of all, the answer. So he doesn't even understand the science behind. Never mind a hazy beer. He doesn't understand the science behind an exploding can of beer.
Yeah.
So while I agree with you, maybe the style makes it more difficult because there's a visual problem in checking if the beer's done, but this might have happened with his Vienna lager. The brewer's so awful, I would think, right?
Well, I'm just saying it opens the door for it to be harder for the consumer to know.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if a Vienna lager was still fermenting and going to potentially cause a problem, it wouldn't be clear like you would normally expect a Vienna lager to be.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, you could see in the bottle there could be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I bet other people are having the same problem. He should Google that brewery name. And the problem, you should probably find other people who have the same issue.
I also let me say this, just especially with the tone of your email and how this maybe all went down. While I agree that you're in the right here and that you got an awful response from the brewery. If you want to get what you want out of life, or even out of circumstances like this, you should probably take a different approach. You could do consumers around you, your friends, other customers of this brewery, and maybe even this brewery, a favor if it were maybe approached, a little differently. Even politely responding, even though the guy was a dick about, hey, lesson for you. Still, sometimes I get that, and I will still politely respond again, even politely deliver my message again, because the more you can be the reasonable one in the exchange, the more likely your message is to be heard. Right. So even when people are being, I guess I'm giving you a life lesson here, even when people are being unreasonable, it's still helpful to be reasonable as long as you possibly can.
There's no point in taking the low road.
And the point is to get what you want. This is what I always emphasize. Is like, I'm not talking about rolling over and being a sissy or whatever, or sucking up your pride or anything. Whoa. I'm actually talking about getting what you want. And the best way to get what you want is to,
Yeah, but what does the guy want, right? To not get exploding cans? It's not going to happen. He can't go back in time. So what I would do is
I think what he wants in this case is a refund, maybe. I don't know, a replacement.
I would just send him a dick pic. Unsolicited dick pic.
This is why JP doesn't get what he wants.
I would Louis C.K. this motherfucker, dude. I don't give a shit. No, but it depends on where. If he bought it at a Bevmo or Total Wine or whatever.
You'd go there.
I would go there and complain to them and say, hey, look, this happens before. There's an exchange. There's numerous people. This is a lawsuit potentially not only for the brewery but for the retail shop, I would imagine. And then I would screenshot that exchange and send it to the owner of the business and be like, this is, just so you know, this is the face of your company.
Yeah.
That I'm in this craft beer group or whatever. I don't know the circumstances, but this person is representing your company and is basically saying it's my fault for keeping the beer sub 60. I'm not going to buy any of your beers anymore, specifically because of this, and because I don't trust your quality control anymore.
Yeah.
So just so you know,
that's what I'm saying. You're actually saying exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
it's
the
to be reasonable
part was
about
better.
Yeah.
Well, the emailer, hopefully the brewer that get feedback to him isn't the owner as well.
Right.
Yeah. He's like, here's my butthole now.
And look, if all else fails, and that is how they do business, and that is how they want to do things, I wouldn't worry too much about it because they're probably not going to last.
You're just out
at
$24.
They'll probably end up hurting somebody, and then they'll be shut down.
Yeah, they won't be driving a Tesla, that's for sure.
All right, and I got to get us to a break, but I got one more here. Doug from Long Beach writes in, hey, you guys were talking about Jamil's sex show during the Armistice episode.
That's good to play.
And Justin mentioned that sponsors were already unhappy about the Adam and Eve ads. What sponsors were unhappy, he wants to know. With all the raunchy, misogynistic, and homophobic stuff casually tossed around on the Brewing Network, for them to be offended by the mere mention of the female orgasm makes me a bit outraged. Doug from Long Beach, California. Well, first of all, are we really all that raunchy, misogynistic, and homophobic? I don't know.
I mean, if anything's been said, it's very ironic and not serious.
Right, but whatever. And anyhow, it was a long time ago, like years ago, when Adam and Eve first came on, and there was no talk about the female orgasm like in the Big O kit that we promote right now. It was just about products and dildos and everything else. Yeah. And,
shave her head and give her a good time.
Maybe two sponsors just asked me about it. They didn't pull their money. They didn't say don't do it. They just said, are we sure that this is the direction? And, what do you think about it? They asked my opinion. They were a little concerned. And I probably said something like you said, Doug, which was like, well, listen, we already say a bunch of dick jokes anyway. Is it really that bad? Plus, if you want to pay me the money that they're paying me, I will drop them right now. Right. But you have to double your sponsorship to make up for what they're paying, and then I'm fine. But anyhow, everyone ended up fine with it. So don't worry, Doug. This wasn't we can say all the dick jokes we want.
Yeah, nobody was prudish about it.
Female orgasm
or organism.
Leave the male outrage to us. There's plenty here.
Right. Yeah. So it wasn't as bad as maybe I made it sound.
Are you outraged?
No, not Justin. Doug.
I'm fine. Okay. Let me get us to a break, because we got to get to our interview with Bent Paddle Brewing Company. Before we go to break real quick, do this now at the break, as long as you're not driving or something. Go to beersmith.com right now and get your free 21-day trial of Beersmith 3. And Beersmith 3's got all kinds of stuff. A streamlined interface that hides unneeded data when brewing, a secure connection to their online recipe database, which has over 700,000 recipes, revised databases including new hops, malts, fruits, juices, honey, and a style guide for mead, wine, and cider. They really have tons of upgrades, and it's free for you to check it out. Just go to beersmith.com and get your free 21-day trial, and then you'll be happy you did so. I'm sure of it. Does more than you even know you need it to do. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got Bent Paddle Brewing Company from Duluth, Minnesota on the show. Beardy's excited. He's probably feeling the cold already.
Oh, it feels so good.
Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
First Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
Hi, this is Wayne Wumbles from Cigar City Brewing, and you're listening to the session on the Brewing Network.
That's right. Welcome back to the program. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. In just a minute, we're going to be speaking to Charlie Brodell from Bent Paddle Brewing Company. And this segment is brought to you by craftbeer.com, home of the most mouth-watering map in the world, the map of U.S. breweries. If you find yourself in a new city and want to sample the local flavors, or if you just want to marvel at the vast American beer landscape, go visit craftbeer.com and check out their brewery finder. All right, on the program right now, we should have Charlie from Bent Paddle Brewing Company. Are you with us, Charlie?
I am. How's everybody doing tonight?
We're doing very well. Thanks for hanging in there and coming on the program with us. How's Duluth, Minnesota right now? Are you awaiting winter to arrive?
Well, I like to see it, but I like to see a little bit of fall first.
Okay.
It's just starting to kind of pop its head out a little bit. It's a nice time of year up here right now.
I thought you guys skipped right over fall. I thought you had a nice summer and then it just goes right to blizzard.
Sometimes it can literally be about like 5 days.
I see. Okay. Well, folks at home, if you want to play along, you can go over to bentpaddlebrewing.com and you can read some of the descriptions of the beers that we're talking about and learn all about Bent Paddle Brewing at bentpaddlebrewing.com. So how long you been the head brewer there at Bent Paddle?
Just over 2 years.
Okay. And you've brewed at other places before?
What was that?
You've brewed at other breweries before as well?
I have. Yeah, I started my career at Big Sky Brewing Company in Missoula, Montana. Spent 7 years there and moved to Kalamazoo, Michigan. I worked at Bell's. Left Bell's and I went to Trogs in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And then went back to Bell's for 2 years, and then I've been up here for just over 2 years.
So you've never really brewed at a good brewery, you would say?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
No, I'm kidding. It's a joke. Big Sky, Trogs.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's a trifecta of kind of perfect places you want to, I think, cut your teeth on. I don't know about how it is to really work there, but the beers are great.
I've been very lucky. I fell into the brewing industry. I didn't pursue it. It was something working in living in Montana, and I knew a bunch of people at Big Sky Brewing Company, and a couple people gave me a chance to kind of cut my teeth there and start on the packaging line and work my way into the cellar, and I spent a lot of time in the cellar there.
Okay.
But yeah, I was also brewing as well. Kind of before I left. I thank Kevin Keeter and Matt Long and Derek Stepanski, who's now at Bell's. I actually worked with him at Big Sky. He's the quality manager at Bell's now.
Nice.
For those guys giving me a shot and teaching me a lot along the way, and working with guys like John Mallett and Andy Farrell at Bell's has been great, and that whole team they're amazing, and Trogs was a great experience. I loved working there. I loved the people I worked with. Unfortunately, being a Midwestern guy myself. The East Coast didn't really jive with me so much. So
yeah, too many Amish.
I was like, sorry guys. I was like, I love you and I love working here, but I got to go.
Got to get back to the Midwest.
Yep.
I recently fell in love with Montana. I don't know how you left that state. I love that place. It's a nice place to live.
Oh, yeah, it was great. It's just I'm from the Midwest, and my family is still here. I'm from Wisconsin, and my folks are still in Appleton, Wisconsin, and my brother he's always kind of been around the Midwest. He lives in just outside Chicago, and it was just kind of like I got to get back home. It was a great 10 years I spent out there living it, for sure.
Yeah,
I wouldn't trade any of it.
Now, did you come home for the job at Bent Paddle, or did you come home and then or close to home and then got the job at Bent Paddle?
First off, it was like leaving Trogs. It was to get closer to my family.
Okay.
I don't want to go too deep into it.
I gotcha. That's all right.
And then I got to a point. After being back at Bell's, for about a year, you get to a point at my age, being, in the mid-30s, it's like, I'd like to buy a house and things like that. And you think about where you want to settle down. And Kalamazoo is a great city. I just couldn't see myself really taking that step forward in my life. And, just kind of, I love maps, and I literally was like, I remember one night, it was summertime after being back at Bell's for about a year, and I was looking at a map and just thinking in my head, like, where would I really want to live, And a lot of the things I was thinking about were the things I wanted was obviously being close to my family, which I was, fairly close living in Kalamazoo.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, like the other things, like what makes me happy. And a lot of the things that popped into my head were the things I missed from leaving Montana, which was having unbelievable access to the outdoors,
right?
Being able to fish and ski and, be close to water. That was a big thing. So there were two cities that kind of popped up in my head that I had visited, growing up when I was in college or high school, and one was Marquette, Michigan, and the other was Duluth.
Okay.
The attractive thing to Duluth was I have some friends I've known for a long time that have relocated here. So one day, a job popped up on the internet on a website that I'm sure a lot of people frequent.
Yeah.
And I was probrewer.com, and it was pretty funny because I saw it about 10 minutes later. Some people started texting me.
Oh, right.
That were like, hey, this job popped up. You might be interested in it.
Sure.
I was like, I'm already working on my resume. Don't worry.
Now, one of our co-hosts, Beardy here, spent a good amount of time in Minnesota, went to school there.
Yeah.
Did you spend time in Duluth, Beardy?
I did, and that actually was my favorite city in Minnesota.
Is that right?
So if I was ever to move back there, that would be where I would head to.
Okay.
It's beautiful. And right on the Superior, it's like having an ocean. Like it's a Midwest ocean town.
Wow.
Great weather.
Yeah, it's an inland ocean for sure.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually
the nice thing
moderate.
is, like, you don't have to have air conditioning because you get the Lake Superior air conditioning when you get the lake breeze.
Okay.
It's pretty awesome.
Got it.
Yeah, it's got a lot going on. There's a couple colleges, very active downtown scene.
Okay.
A lot of breweries there now, and even a couple distilleries popping up.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've got one of your first beers in front of us, and your Venture Pils, which I haven't tried yet. I'm about to try it. But I think this is probably a great beer for where this discussion is headed, because maybe we can talk about the water that you get out of Lake Superior, too. I'm sure that has something to do with how especially your Pilsner might taste. So did you guys taste the Pilsner already? This is the Venture Pils. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about the beer, Charlie, while we give it a taste here?
Well, it's in my opinion kind of like the showcase beer of why Bent Paddle is where it's at. One of the owners, Brian, I don't know if you guys studied up at all on the kind of how the brewery was founded, but it was two couples.
Okay.
my direct supervisor, Brian Tonis, he's the CEO of the company. He went to, Siebel, did the courses over in Europe and spent a lot of time drinking a lot of lagers there. And the water quality up here is just amazing. Not only is it, we all like to do things outside at the brewery. So we have a big focus on water quality. The water is unbelievably soft here.
Okay.
It mimics the water from the Czech Republic. So, the ppms are super low on it. We don't add any sort of salts to it. It's just simple carbon filtration, and it's unbelievable. People joke up here in Duluth that it's like when we go other places, we actually take Duluth water with us.
Wow. And it's all, it is from Lake Superior, right? That's where your water comes from? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. But the beer itself, it's kind of, one of the questions you guys asked me about a little bit was, further questions, was there something you're interested in? And yeast is one thing I'm really interested in. And since I've been up here, we've actually experimented with 3 different yeast strains on this beer to kind of find the sweet spot that what we really want it to be.
And what'd you settle on?
Well, right now we really love the Augustiner yeast strain.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So when I came up here, it was something from BSI. It was their, I think, Czech strain or something. I don't know the number. We switched to Danish lager because that's a yeast strain I'm a little familiar with, that I've used at a couple of breweries I've worked at. Mm-hmm. And then, we use Augustiner in our roof rack, our fest beer.
Okay.
And we ended up, we really like that yeast strain. It's very versatile. It's kind of I don't know what you would really want to call it. It's forgiving, as well.
So you're saying operationally it's easy to use. What about flavor?
Yeah.
Did you have to give anything up by taking that yeast? Like over say the Danish yeast sounds like it might have more character.
I think the Danish might have been a little bit kind of, I don't know, there was a finish at the end that we were not really too psyched on. It was maybe a little bit kind of harsh.
Or seemed out of place at least. Right? You don't want that at the end.
Yeah. And it just didn't, it's a great yeast strain. Just for what we were doing though, it just was just didn't really fit. And it also yeast management wise as well, when we would come into summertime and we're trying to manage Pilsner, then we have roof rack in there with the Augustiner, and we also have our house ale strain, possibly a Belgian strain. Like yeast management wise, it was difficult in a small brewery like we have with only 12 fermenters and four bright tanks. Yeast management was a big part of it as well.
Okay. So what do you mean by the yeast being forgiving, being flexible with being able to rush the beer out or accept warmer temperatures?
No, just temperature is the big thing. Diacetyl reduction is also really great on it.
Okay.
I haven't brewed a lot of. Obviously, when I was at Trogs, we brewed a lot of lagers, but it was a very strict regimen of this yeast at this temperature. You don't want to go 1 or 2 degrees above or below. Where this strain, we ferment Pilsner a little bit differently than we ferment roof rack, and it was just kind of a good fit.
Is that because you want a different yeast character in the 2 beers?
No, not really. No.
Then how come you treat them differently?
Roof rack we ferment a little bit warmer.
Okay.
Than we do the Pilsner.
This one does, and I don't know if it's the water or the yeast or both, but it does uphold the hop character like a Pilsner should.
Yes. Crisp and And sharp, I guess.
Sharp.
Forward,
I was going to say like a firm bitterness, which I want out of a Pilsner, right? It should be more bitter than a Helles.
Yeah.
And Augustiner is actually a Helles yeast.
There is kind of a fruity ester like a Helles for me, which I like, and I think it really plays well with that solid bitterness. And I think a lot of Pilsners these days don't have that level of crisp bitterness to match well with the sweetness of the malt, and you need both of those.
Which this has.
Yeah.
So I think that soft water that you mentioned is nice for this beer, like you said, just like it would be coming out of Pilsen. And what are the?
It's also dry hopped as well.
Oh, is it? So that was my next question. What are the hops? And you dry hop as well. So is it all noble hops?
Yeah, we do. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, why did you choose to dry hop? I'm glad you did, by the way, because I like it. But what made you choose to?
It's one thing, with Bent Paddle. It's like if you read our mission statement and what we're all about. One thing is we bend traditions of the beer. So every beer is a little bit. There's something in there that you could pick out where you're like, this isn't totally true to style.
Got it.
Style guidelines of what they would do typically. I was not part of the recipe development of this beer. This is, the director of brewery operations owner, Brian, he was like, yeah, let's dry hop it. Give it that little bit of extra kick that people might be looking for.
Okay.
So it's German tradition, Saaz, Sterling.
Okay. Yeah, one of our favorites, the Pivo Pils from Firestone, Tasty, that's dry hop too, right? Didn't they do that?
I believe so, yeah. And I love that beer as well. That's one of my...
That's like a brewer's Pilsner, right? Every time we mention that, every brewer's like, oh, yeah, that's my Pilsner. I love that Pilsner. But, it's the one I think about when I hear about other brewers dry hopping, too. And I go, okay, yeah, that's a great thing to do. It works,
Yep.
Are you guys filtering also? Because this is really bright in appearance.
We centrifuge. We separate.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to, but before I came on board, they used to filter everything through a Bell filter. But then it was maybe 6 months before I showed up. They purchased a separator. So but that's something we monitor. Clarity is a big thing.
Yeah. I read in my notes that you're also...
Ultimately, with a separator, though, you're never going to make every single beer, super-duper bright. It's not going to take out everything, but...
Yeah, you're not going to strip it.
Right.
I wanted to ask you, do you dry hop before terminal gravity? I'll say before the diacetyl rest.
That's an interesting... Yeah, no, we don't. But you'll find after dry hopping, you'll kind of activate fermentation again. Mm-hmm. So we usually drop in degrees Plato, we'll drop 0.1, 0.2 degrees Plato after dry hop.
You kind of see where I'm going.
A couple places I've worked at, you'll see they dry hop, before it hits terminal. So
yeah. And why I'm asking is the consumption of the diacetyl that it creates.
Right.
Yep.
It'd be my concern.
I completely know.
I mean, your beer obviously has none. It's perfectly. It's a stellar beer.
What temperature?
I'd be worried about that. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, what temperature is the beer at when you do the dry hopping?
For the Pilsner?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, 60.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's post diacetyl rest, and then
that is the diacetyl rest.
Yeah, we'll do a diacetyl test. Yeah. We'll pass it, and then at that point we're good to dry hop.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then you'll dry hop, get some more diacetyl, wait a little bit, and then crash after that?
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know that, by the way, guys, that the dry hopping will trigger a diacetyl action.
It kind of gets a little bit of fermentation restarted, which will start some more diacetyl.
Interesting.
And then it takes even longer for that to clear up. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Fake news, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It is sort of a new concept.
Or you could just package it after you dry hop, and I hear it's fine.
And throw some fruit in there. Don't worry, have one fruit.
Basically, you just pitch the yeast into the wort and then bottle that.
Right.
And then that way you're on trend.
Yeah, cork it and cap it.
Okay. Well, before we take a break, we've got another beer in our glass that I want to talk about too. And
all right, which one you got?
So this one is your ESB. And
all right, gold medal winner.
So we were super happy to see this on our list because, I don't know, a lot of times we get sent like the same beer styles over and over. So it's nice to see this classic pop back in our studio.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, what's the beer name, and then tell us about the beer?
It's 14 Degree ESB. It's one of our flagships that we have. 14 degrees, some people ask, what's up with 14 degree? Well, it's the bend in the canoe paddle.
I thought it was Plato. Okay,
of course, duh. Everybody knows.
I thought it was awful weather. Okay.
Bend in the canoe. I didn't know canoe paddles had bends.
Well, yeah, you can get straight paddles, but if up here with boundary waters being so close, people are very into paddling, and
you're right.
And if you're really into paddling, you're going to have a canoe paddle with a bend to it.
Right, because if you want to work harder, you can
generally about 14 degrees.
Huh. That's cool. I like that.
You know where it's cooler if you're a canoer out in Duluth, because you walk in and you're like, I fucking know what that is.
Right,
I like that.
It's like an Easter egg, right?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
like in all the Marvel movies have little Easter eggs or whatever, or like
right.
DVD Easter eggs. Remember those when you had to like access certain points in the menu
yes.
of DVDs to get shit,
and you'd get a little Easter egg.
That's what that is.
It is, because the rest of us idiots go in and they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's 14 degrees. It's cold here in the winter.
I get it. It's funny. Let me drink it.
It's way colder than that.
I know, right? And exactly. That's why I really am the idiot. When the local next to me is like, no, idiot, it's a canoe. It's the angle of the paddle. Okay, so I love the name.
Most mornings you wake up here, you look in the TV or look at your thermometer, and it's like, oh, it's negative 18 outside.
Oh, God.
Negative 14.
I miss those days.
Yeah, Beardy here loves it. All right, so tell us about the beer itself. It tastes delicious, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Well, it definitely is a beer that we want to highlight malt in this beer. Again, it's going to have a little bit of a bending tradition on it. But instead of using, standard, 2-row malt, we use pale malt.
Okay.
And then it really highlights a lot of Simpsons malt as well. Golden Promise, aromatic, some Crystal Extra Dark, actually, some of the coloring comes from Carafa 3.
Okay.
From Wireman.
I love the color.
Yeah. What kind of yeast are you using? But it is
definitely we don't use any special yeast for it. We use your standard Cal Ale.
Okay.
On it, so there's not much of a where you can get that out of some traditional English ESBs.
Yeah.
Where the yeast is actually, you get a lot of that fruitiness. I'm very familiar with 1968 from Fuller's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where, if you ferment that above 70 degrees, it really becomes a fruit bomb.
Yeah, right.
Quite a bit. If you're under 70 degrees, it's a very neutral yeast strain.
Okay.
So we, it's a standard Cal Ale. Definitely wants to be a more malt forward beer, highlighting those really awesome crystal malts from Simpsons. And then kind of, there's, EKG in there. It's kind of the back end malt, a little bit of Glacier. And, the big thing is the Amarillo, EKG, and Autumn dry hop to it.
Oh, nice.
So that's been something that we've really actually, I don't want to say struggling with, because it's not our fault, but finding good Amarillo hops these days, in for the size of a brewery we are, has been really difficult.
Sure.
Because we're not contracted, we don't get to select.
Oh, okay.
So we're kind of just like buying Amarillos as we go, and we find some stuff we buy that we're not like super psyched about, and we've actually done some experiments too with throwing some Comet in there as well.
Okay. And did that give you
contracted for those?
Did that give you what you wanted, or no?
Yeah, well, I think the batch you guys are drinking, or it was actually one of our experiments with some Comet in there.
Okay.
Which actually kind of brought out like a kind of a cherry fruitiness a little bit. I don't know if you guys are picking that up at all.
And you're talking about the dry hop or the
Yep.
berry hop? Okay, right.
Maybe the aroma, actually, now that you mention it, there's a little cherry in there.
What's your your dosing rate in the dry hop? Like how many pounds per barrel? 1 or?
Oh, on
less than 1.
I'd have to do the math on ESB. Yeah.
It's light, though, isn't it? Because
it's not a heavily dry hop.
Yeah, I think this is a subtle.
Neither was the Pilsner, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely malt forward. I'm surprised to hear that you say dry hop, but when you talk about the notes that you might be getting from that, I get those. Yeah, that kind of like dark cherry is in there, and then even from the malt, there's a little. It's not quite caramel. It's like kind of a right between a caramel and a toffee.
Maybe a cola. Like if I try hard enough, it's like cherry cola, or almost like Dr. Pepper.
I would
almost very subtly.
I would stick with cola
in a good cola, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
If you want to get brand specific,
because of those things, I really like your choice of Cal Ale. I like that you did that.
Totally.
There are beers I like with the English ale yeast. There's fewer of them because once it gets a little too fruity or estery for me, then there's just it falls into like the perceived sweetness area, and I just all of a sudden I think the beer's too sweet. So I like that you chose Cal Ale for this, and instead to showcase the malts and these dry hops you're talking about. I think that's a good choice.
Yep.
I noticed on the can you call it an ESB in one spot, but you also say extra special amber. Is that to help kind of sell the beer? Because people don't know what a bitter is, but they know what an amber ale is.
Yep. Yeah, bitter is a term that sometimes people, they get really offended and turned off by it.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, especially now.
They hear like bitter.
I don't like bitter things. I like IPA.
I don't want a bitter beer. I don't want an IPA. And it's like, this isn't.
Yeah.
This is the style of beer that we're talking about, which has been around forever.
Right.
And they're not bitter beers. At the time when that style, evolved, yes, that was a bitter beer, but
right.
No, it is not in today's brewing world a bitter beer by any means.
Yeah, today's context is totally different. We mentioned on last show our friend Jamil at Heretic, close to us here. He has an ESB, but he has to call it an English Pale Ale because nobody will buy it.
Right.
It will not sell if it's not called something other than bitter.
Yeah.
Because no one understands it.
Yeah, I'm sure what that style is. Well, and, overall impression of this beer for me is that it is an amber ale. It doesn't have enough English character because the esters are lacking.
Mm-hmm.
And the crystal malt doesn't come out enough because it would have more English character than probably even the Golden Promise. It would show up more because it's such a dominant malt if you use enough. Seemed like instead of the carafa.
We don't use a lot. Of.
Yeah, I can tell. Most of the color is coming from the carafa, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Tasty, you're saying not only is it help sell the beer, it's also a good accurate description.
It's
more accurate.
Absolutely.
It's not, to me, it's got everything other than the noble hops. There's obviously some non-noble hops in there too.
Yeah. Well, so you've done well again, Charlie. Good job.
Good beer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I do have to get us to a break, a quick one here, and then we've got some more beer to try when we come back, too. So you got time to hang out for another segment with us?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, excellent. Because coming up, what are we looking at here? I've got our cold press black ale that you sent us. We want to try that, and then Bent Hop Golden IPA is in there too. So I'm excited about that. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Before we do, hey, don't forget about the American Homebrewers Association and their Brew Guru app. If you love brewing beer and saving money on beer when you go out, you need the Brew Guru in your corner. The app offers a searchable database of homebrew recipes, including popular craft beer clones and hundreds of winning recipes from the National Homebrew Competition. What's more, Brew Guru has a searchable map of deals at breweries, beer bars, and homebrew shops. So go grab the free Brew Guru app for iPhone and Android devices and follow the path to good beer. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got more beer to try from Bent Paddle. Plus, we'll learn about them from Charlie and see what else is happening out there in Duluth, Minnesota. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, there are amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer. Whether for yourself or as a gift, when you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on two gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy.
This is Corey King from Side Project Brewing, and you're listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
All right, welcome back to the program, and thank you for sticking with us. I want to let you know about the Branding Brews podcast. It's a deep inside look at everything that revolves around branding and marketing a brewery. Branding Brews interviews industry professionals covering in-depth strategies and topics like labels, packaging, websites, social media content, trademark, marketing, and so much more. Whether you're in sales and marketing, you own a brewery, or you're looking to start a brewery, Branding Brews is a podcast for you. Go to brandingbrews.com or subscribe to the show wherever you like to get your podcasts. All right, we are still talking with Bent Paddle Brewing Company, and we've got Charlie Brodell on the line with us. And Charlie, our producer here, is quickly pouring us more of your beer because we need it. So, what are you up to? What are you getting this time? It looks like, well, we've got to do the Black Ale and the Bent Hop Golden IPA. I was thinking we should do the Black Ale first. What do you think?
Go for it.
How about the other direction?
That's a positive.
Well,
We're going for it.
We'll segue into that.
Yeah.
We speak that.
I always figure, just keep it simple, leave the IPA for last.
Yeah, it's usually a palate buster.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to go.
So in the description that I was sent, I just have cold pressed black ale. But what is this beer? What's it called? And
what are you pressing?
Oh, actually, I'm looking at the can now. It's cold pressed black. There we go.
Yep.
The can here
it is
says
our cold pressed black ale. We make a black ale, which we call kind of like a stout porter beer. Okay. And we just, infuse it with cold pressed coffee that we get from Duluth Coffee Company locally here that they make for us.
Got it.
So it's the same base beer. We at one time we're like kind of trying to maybe brew, like 0.2, 0.3 degrees higher of finishing gravity for cold press, but just with our production matrix and everything that's going on, it was very hard to like single batches because we're still a very young brewery and going into markets, and we don't know exactly how much is going to sell. So we just ended up saying, no, black ale can become, it can be black ale or it can become cold press.
Okay. How old is the brewery, by the way?
Just over 5 years old.
Okay. Yeah.
And do you have your own tap room, or are you strictly a distributor, distributing your beer?
No, we have we just actually built a new tap room.
Oh.
It opened up in April.
All right. So any sort of one-offs you do can go through there, right?
Well, we also have a pilot brewery because to sell beer at a place, you have to make beer on premise. So we built we have a 7-barrel, oversized 7-barrel brew house, which one of our brewers who used to be our lead brewer and now he manages the pilot plant, Neil Caron. He's been listening to your show for over 6 years.
Oh, cool.
He was actually really bummed he's not on this right now. He was I'm not a podcast guy. This is like totally new to me. But he was like, "What? You're doing what?"
Well, I'll give you a shout out to Neil. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, Neil. He's been with the brewery for almost 5 years.
Okay.
He's one of the OG guys there, and he's an excellent brewer. He's an excellent palate. He can envision a beer in his head and write it down on paper of what he wants. It's something, I'm more of a process. I've worked in production breweries, didn't do a lot of recipe formulation stuff.
Okay.
Where Neil just to him, it's just like, he gets it.
Got it. And I'm sorry,
he's unbelievable.
Did you say he's in your pilot brewery? Is that where he is?
Yep.
Yeah,
he runs the pilot plant. Yeah.
Nice.
7.5 barrels. That's a pretty big pilot brewery.
Yeah.
It's a pretty serious amount. I know companies that's all they got.
Right.
Wow. And
yep. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have the production brewery, which used to house the old tap room, and then last April we moved into our new tap room, which is across the parking lot, into a building that we had offices in, and built a big tap room that can house 300 people or so.
That is big.
If the outside is open. Okay. I will say that. I don't know the exact capacity, so I hope the fire marshal or anybody's not listening to me right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But, we've got outdoor seating, or a little patio, I should say, that's dog-friendly as well, which is nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
There's not a lot of tap rooms where you can bring a dog. They can't come inside, but they can stay outside.
That's fair.
Easy enough.
They should stay home.
Yeah.
Outside is good.
And there's a really nice, kind of kid play area as well. I know that's a very controversial topic.
Oh, you're going the old
industry of bringing
Stroller
your son or daughter to a tap room to enjoy a beer or two. But,
right.
We've got a nice little area that, kids can kind of hang out in. There's some bubble hockey, some foosball.
See, I love that. I used to hate the idea of kids going to breweries, but now that it benefits me, I love it.
Right. They should also stay at home.
Well,
I don't judge.
It's also, look, it's the McDonald's route. One of the reasons McDonald's became so successful is when they started putting playgrounds on there. So
Playgrounds and Happy
you
Meals,
have these like
Toys and Happy Meals.
now, of course, they did it for a different reason. They did it so that children have endearing memories of McDonald's, and they become a customer for life. But our place here, the Hop Grenade, Charlie, where our studio is at, is also family friendly. We don't have a kids area, but we love it. You know, that people can bring their kids in, and I think it's important. I know you're saying, "Oh, it's controversial," and I agree. There are still people that think it's controversial, but let's be honest.
I don't think it is.
No, I know, but you're saying it's still sort of publicly. People are like, "Well, do we really have a playground at a brewery?"
Who brings kids?
And I say, "Hell yeah, we do. Why not?"
Right.
It's perfect.
I don't see why whoever the parents are can't have drink moderately and have a good evening.
That's right. We put it in the hands of
exactly.
responsible parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. It all comes down to the parents' responsibility.
Right.
You know, and in Montana, it was the same way. It was, most of the tap rooms there were very friendly to somebody coming in, having some beers, have their kids. They'd have a little play area, like, oh, we got some toys and we got some stuff, It's
right.
like, we don't want your kid running around,
It's
making,
true.
Being crazy.
It's actually
Just
helpful.
Take care of your kid, and we're not going to have a problem.
You put them in the play area so they're not running around pulling butterfly valves and shit in the brewery. It's much better this way.
You get to drink from the blow-off tube again.
Yeah.
So, Charlie, you're getting cold-pressed coffee directly from the coffee maker, or are you? Is it concentrated?
Oh, we're drinking a coffee beer.
The Segway King.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got to get back to that.
Speaking of being pressed for time, how about this cold
We're not pressed for time at all. I just got bored with too much of that. It's a really selfish thing on my part.
Tasty wanted to get right back to beer.
Tasty's had his kids. They're all old.
That's
so 30 years
give you
ago.
all advice on how this thing works.
I don't blame him.
I kept thinking about the breeze coming off Lake Superior as you were talking about the patio and the dog. That's all I could think about. That's all I heard was, and that breeze,
Yeah, so let's talk about this, though. Where's the coffee from, and how do you use it?
Duluth Coffee Company.
Okay.
They're a local coffee company. The guys are awesome. And they've been making the cold press, cold brew for us for forever.
Okay. It's a really
I don't know
nice...
a lot of... I know that they have kind of some proprietary kind of information of how they actually make the cold press.
Okay.
Well, I've been more interested in how you get it. Do they make it the brew stronger for you so you don't have to dilute the beer as much?
Yes. It's double. Yeah, it's double strength.
Okay.
We like it from them.
All right.
We call it super juice.
Okay. So you probably tasted some. Is it drinkable? I mean, I guess.
They drink it every morning.
No. I mean, the normal cold press is great. We actually have that on tap in our tap room.
Oh, nice.
On nitro.
Oh, nice feature.
Yeah, and we have also some kombucha, and that's locally made as well. Nice. So there are NA options if you come to Bent Paddle.
I bet you got a cider as well, don't you?
There we go.
Okay.
How are you guys?
Right, so then you put this in a finished beer and it drops the ABV, I assume. Of course it would. You're diluting.
Not, because it's so strong, it really doesn't.
So you don't use that much.
I mean,
all right.
No, it's, we have ratios. We dose more if it's a little bit more. If it's nitro, if it's not nitro, it gets a lower dosage.
When are you adding the coffee to the beer?
In the bright beer tank.
Okay.
So we supply them with kegs, like they have kegs as well. And they just fill a normal half barrel of beer. Or if we want to kind of divvy it up, and depending on volumes, I can ask for, I need X amount of half barrels, quarter barrels, 6 barrels, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of based on our volume that we want to package.
Do you guys pasteurize the coffee, or how do you fight contamination problems?
We don't pasteurize it, no.
I just hope that it's clean.
No, yeah. And actually, it's a really good question. That you asked there, because one brewery, two breweries I've worked at, actually all three I've worked at, the coffee was never pasteurized for cold brew.
And it's never been an issue. We've tried several cold brews too. I've never heard anybody talk about it being an issue. But it's still a valid question. It seems like it certainly could be.
Some of the better coffee beers I've had over the last few years have come out of Minnesota, and I know Indeed talk about having a special, essentially sanitization process that they treat theirs with.
Okay.
They wouldn't say what it was, but
bastards.
Yeah, I mean, I can comment, I should say one of the places I worked at, the cold press that we made in-house was actually dumped in the hop back. Okay. So it came in hot.
Oh, so you're adding the cold press.
So
you dumped
in the
it on, you dumped the cold press
onto hot.
So
the hops in the hop back.
All right, so you're saying it was sanitary then.
Yeah.
Well, on the other side...
That was probably pretty sanitary.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Even coming out of a whirlpool, it's 180 degrees, but you look at contact time, is it really going to be sanitary? I don't know.
Yeah, you only need 30 seconds.
Doesn't take long
at that temperature.
Yeah. Well, the coffee that you're getting from Duluth Coffee Company it's food clean. They treat it like a food product. Obviously that's just how they operate.
Yes.
So it's not like and it's a low pH. So I don't see it as a place where you're going to necessarily introduce a large, something that you need to worry about, and you're adding it to an alcohol solution. That's why, when I dry up, I don't worry about the hops themselves carrying some sort of some problem, because the beer is sort of antimicrobial despite based on its alcohol.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What is the ABV on this beer?
Just ominous about this.
ABV. I'm looking at the can.
Black Ale, 6%.
Okay. I like that it still has a good body to it, even with as much coffee flavors.
Right.
The coffee's not thinning out the beer too
Which
much.
can happen. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
I love this beer.
We actually tell people a lot, Black Ale is one of our easiest drinking beers. People get... they get thrown off by IBUs or color of beer, but if you actually sit down and blindfoldedly drink Black Ale, it's you'd be like, oh, this is good. And, it's got a little bit of roast character to it. The body is actually pretty smooth.
It is.
In my opinion.
It's got some malt character behind it. It really goes well with the coffee. I think the malt character in the coffee really knock it out.
It's super coffee forward, which is so the aroma alone, I just absolutely love. I want to smell this beer every morning.
Absolutely.
I really, really love this aroma. That you guys have nailed. And then, so I'm glad that you were mentioning the body, too, because the one thing I was going to say was maybe it's a little sweet in the finish. But now that you talk about the body, Beardy, I think it's actually just more body than I'm used to in a coffee beer, where it just might super thin out and then become a little acrid, or the coffee's too much.
Yeah.
But here, the coffee's all in the front, right where I like it. And then it really finishes. There is a bit of sweetness, but it's more just a mouthfeel. It's a body now that you've said it. I think
it's kind of balancing. It balances the acid and the acridness you get from the coffee, leaving that little bit of maltiness there.
So usually I really love the aroma on these beers, and then I'll only have one and I don't want any more because of that finish. Mm-hmm. But I just cracked open another can of this one because I really like how it finishes. I think you did well on this one.
I like it too. I drank all mine.
And as much as the West Coast and Portland in particular claim to be big coffee towns, I think Minnesota has some of the best local coffee roasters that I've had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make sense too?
The Midwest
when
in
it's
general,
20 below.
Them,
And they need good coffee to make it through the winter.
I love Stumptown coffee out of Portland. I will tell you that.
Okay. Now, I read in my notes that you guys might be, I don't know how relevant this is, but I found it interesting that you might be moving to a single field coffee bean as well for this beer?
Yes. Yep. Actually, Eric, Charlie, not me, but Charlie and Sam from Duluth Coffee are currently right now, they're down in South America, and they've been working with a family farm, the Munoz farm in Colombia. They've been working with them for a few years, and they really, really liked, and I don't know the total details.
Right.
This is like a little snapshot of what they sent me, because I just found out about this like last week, that we were gonna get some, single origin sourced beans from one particular family farm to make our cold press with, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, this would be something cool to tell people.
Yeah.
But they've been working with this Munoz farm, and they really liked them, and they came in and they were just like, Eric was like, I will pay you five times fair trade price.
Wow.
To get these beans.
Wow.
From you, and they built a relationship over time, and I mean, that was kind of, years ago, that was like, this family was like, wait, what are you doing? Like, kind of trend-setting in a way.
How much more relationship building did it take after that? I'll pay you 5x more.
5 times. That's a relationship there.
Right. We now have a relationship.
Right. You get to first base for sure.
No, that's great, though.
So we're, it's not something I'm really involved with a whole lot. My boss is actually going to be probably going down to the farm with those guys next year and meeting with them and, building this relationship and, being like, yeah, we're going to get a lot of this.
That's super cool.
Well, that sounds like a great backstory for the
Yeah. Man,
those guys are great at Duluth Coffee. They make, roast great beans, and they're just really good people.
I can taste that they're doing great. I'm being serious right now when I say I think I'm doing something wrong with my coffee. If my coffee could taste half this good in the morning, just my coffee.
Oh yeah.
I should just switch to this because my coffee
now. On the other hand, anyway,
my coffee is shit. I'm realizing right now that I drink shit coffee.
Well, you brew terrible beer. It stands to reason that you brew pretty bad coffee.
And I clearly drink shit coffee. It doesn't matter if I use my French press or whatever the hell. None of it tastes this good, and it's just so coffee forward. I like it.
Maybe it's the beer part that tastes good to you.
It could be.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's funny. Like I love coffee. And I love beer, but I hate coffee beers.
Oh, you do?
I'm not a fan either.
Yeah,
but this
I'm
one
like, but cold press, our cold press black is pretty good. I'm like, yeah, this is good, but I can have beer on a table and coffee right next to it.
Right.
And I'll take them separately.
No, this one just turned me full-blown alcoholic. If you can send me a case of this a week, it'll now be my morning coffee.
I'll trade you for a case of Red Bull.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a lot of Red Bull.
This wasn't on my radar.
And I, like for me, people laugh at me. Like I walk into work and, we have Duluth coffee that we hot brew, but the fact that now we have the tap room with the nitro system, and having just nitro super juice on tap, I'm like, yep.
Right over there. That's your first stop.
Need a 10 ounce. I need a 10 ouncer of that, and I'm good to go for the day.
Yeah, Charlie's productivity just went way up with this new gig in the nitro tap.
Doesn't have the right drugs.
Yeah.
This wasn't on my radar when I was in Minnesota last, but I got intentionally some Banshee Killer, which I think is Insight's coffee cream ale.
Okay.
With the intent of when I get home, I'm going to have a cream ale for breakfast.
Yeah.
And it worked out perfectly.
It did?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was a great day to start your or a great way to start your Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good idea.
When you're not working, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Or driving long distances with impaired vision.
Right. Yeah. Okay, well, we've got one more beer to get through before we have to go, and that is your Golden something or other IPA. Well, it's Golden IPA.
Ben Hop Golden IPA.
There it is, yeah. And that's in our glass.
Like our top flagship beer that we have.
Not surprised.
Right.
Yeah, it's my favorite. That or Pilsner.
So tell us about this beer. Start with the malt, because already that's something I'm enjoying out of this beer is the malt profile.
Well, again, it's for your crystal caramel malt. It's going to highlight Simpson's premium English care malt and Simpson's care malt and standard 2-row. We throw a little bit of Weyermann Pilsner malt in there, just not much.
A little bit, like 5%.
We're actually looking at maybe taking out of there. I don't know.
What percent of the grain bill is the Pilsner malt? 5%?
Oh, it's like
10%?
No, not even.
One bag out of 20?
Like, if you're looking at a 2,000 pound, it would be like 200 pounds, 220. something like that.
4 bags.
220. Yeah, 4 bags.
10%. Good.
Don't get rid of it.
Yeah,
I like it. I think that's a great addition to a hobby beer. Is a good.
Well, that's good.
I go for like
hopefully my boss
14%.
listens to this because we cut it back in half down to 5%. And we just canned the first batch today, and we're all kind of like, let's taste it.
Yeah,
I'd leave that in for sure.
So, I mean, I think the hops in that beer are a bigger, obviously, contributor to IPAs. Are really hard to make like super consistent. You know, where it's like unless you're blending a ton of tanks, which I've done at one brewery I worked at, where it was like, you know, well, you have the ability to blend. You know, you almost brew to blend at that point.
Yeah.
What is the consistency issue? The hops, the differences in hops, or what?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We talk about it like when you know, we get a batch of Bent hop where we're like, whoa, this is great. You know, we always call it hop candy.
Okay.
You know, it's like, oh, it's got that hop candy. You know, and sometimes it can be a little bit. We use the term flabby.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a reason that you guys don't contract? Because then you could potentially get a little bit more.
Oh, we do contract.
Oh, you do?
No,
Okay.
we certainly do. Oh, yeah.
Just not all the hops.
Not
Gotcha.
everything.
Yeah.
But there could be variation in process.
Mm-hmm. Does contracting help kind of with the consistency, or do you still get that variability?
No, I mean, contracting is huge, you know, and in selection is huge, you know, but selection rates, too, have gone up for varieties and with companies that, you know, they keep on bumping it up. So some, you know, there are certain varieties that we don't buy enough of that we can no longer select for.
Okay.
As the brewing industry has grown. So
what varieties are in this IPA now?
You know, the two that I would, you know, really highlight in it are Centennial and Eldorado.
Oh, okay.
Are the two big ones. But this is another beer that, you know, has a couple in there that are, you know, it's a term that I learned when I was at Trogs. They're kind of filler hops, glue hops, binder hops, if you call them.
Okay.
You know, there's some UK Sovereign in there and some Glacier
Nice.
as well.
Yeah.
Which I guess Glacier is not like totally out of the realm of
No,
like
a
something
little
that
bit, yeah.
would be in an IPA.
Yeah, it's a great hop.
But you know, UK Sovereign was one I was kind of like, whoa, that's kind of weird. But
you know,
does it help?
you know,
Or does it get in the way?
There's a little bit of Cascade in there. You know, wouldn't be a beer without Cascade. Come on,
gotta have some Cascade.
I mean, I work.
every good hoppy
I
beer's
worked
got
at
it.
a brewery for Big Sky, and I don't mind saying this. Like, and that was their motto. We will never put Cascade in a beer.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I think they finally did like 2 years after I left.
Okay.
They finally put some Cascade in a beer. They were like, we're never doing it.
Right. That's fascinating.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't like that hop.
You know what I really like about this beer, especially now in today's market? It's earthy. The hop flavors I'm getting are earthy, and not so far earthy, like they're way old school, like dirt.
Like UK hops.
There are some bright notes too. You know, I could pick out some citrus, but they're leaning toward the earthy, and it makes me like, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when IPAs had that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I say remember because now, of course, with the hazy and the juicy and everything else, and even your clear IPAs, everything is so citrus forward now, which I also enjoy. It really makes this one stand out.
Citrus and tropical.
Yeah.
Tropical and all that garbage. Yeah.
Yep, and then the tropical you get from like the Eldorado for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not void of citrus at all.
No.
But it has an earthy balance with it so that it's not just like a juice or just like
right. It calls to what's, I don't want to say current, because I feel it's a little insulting, but I'm going to say it. It calls to what's current, but also does its own thing.
Yeah.
With that earthy thing. I think I really like it. I think a lot of beers in that kind of Midwest pocket tend to do that. I think they have a little more earthy forward beers where I think on the coasts I don't know what the hell we're trying to do out here.
Right.
We're just trying to ruin everything. But I look at the Midwest as far as brewing goes as like the bastion of common sense. And I feel like this beer kind of fuses both of those.
Yeah,
you get a little citrusy, little mango kind of thing.
Yeah,
but like you're saying, that earthy kind of quality that reminds you about why you kind of started drinking beer in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't taste like you're opening a mango.
Yeah,
it tastes like a beer.
Right.
I think it kind of takes
beer flavored beer.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah.
No, it's easy to drink because there's nothing pushing back at you. There's no strong flavor that's getting in your way.
Yeah,
it's easy to drink.
Yeah,
I think
the beer we've like kind of like gone back and forth. Like, what do we call this beer? Like when we're submitting it to GABF, it's like, do we submit it in IPA or do we submit it in strong pale ale category?
Oh, good call. That's difficult.
It's kind of. And like I wouldn't really call it like a typical IPA.
No,
I would more put it in like kind of the strong pale ale category for sure.
With the beers that won English IPA this past year and maybe the year before, I think you'd have a shot in the English IPA category.
Oh yeah,
at something like GABF.
You like that one?
Well, because the beer, I believe it was this year.
Be a little bit more. There needs to be a little bit more malt backbone to it, which is one thing I really like about this beer. Is it has a malt backbone. One of the reasons I went to work at Bell's was because of Making Two Hearted, like my favorite beer of all time.
Great beer.
And the reason I liked it was just it had a malt backbone to it.
Yeah, but beer.
Then I didn't. Once I started working there, I didn't realize it was like such a simple beer. I'm like, holy cow! Like you guys, like I'm definitely of the motto, like, keep it simple, stupid. And I was like, that's about the most simple beer you can make.
Yeah.
But
Beardy's, I hear what he's saying, though, is that even that category has moved a little toward the hoppy side, which might fit this. You definitely... I'm sorry to say, you can't enter it as an American IPA.
Right.
It's a waste of money, and it's not because it's not an American IPA. It's because it's no longer. It's just not gonna hold up in the category.
It's just not current. That's all.
Yeah.
One of the beers that won in the English category was all American hops. The fact that this has a little bit American hop flavor with a throwback to kind of the English earthiness, to me, would put you ahead of the game.
Yeah.
In that category in particular.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, it's interesting for ESB that we won, gold medal for ESB, and there's a substantial amount of Amarillo in the dry hop.
Right. Yeah.
And using English yeast. American yeast.
Yeah. No, that's pretty good to to win in that category. Wow. Yeah, I consider it more of a strong pale ale, because it has the pale ale balance. It's probably just maybe 5 IBUs too hoppy for that category, but at the right age,
it comes in at 65 to 70, right in there.
Yeah, it's a little bit high end for that.
But like you were about to say, Tasty, I think if it comes in at the right age, that might be okay
it could
too.
Be the balance could work out.
Yeah. This beer should win something. I like it.
And let's give it an award right now.
Yeah, we're going to give you awards.
I popped open another can for us.
Yeah, we just opened another one of those. And the cold pressed black. I'm telling you, these two beers, they're nice. All the beers have been nice. Good job.
Yeah.
I think it was a nice tea.
Great to hear.
So what you doing different with the water in this beer?
There's no water in here, actually. That's what's different.
No.
There's no water.
You just took that same soft water and made this beer?
No, that's got some
tons of
calcium chloride and some calcium sulfate in it.
Cool.
So we do adjust those beers.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only beers we don't, I think it's Blonde Ale and Pilsner are the two that do not get salt additions.
Okay, all right. The others are probably calcium chloride, just to get the calcium up.
Yeah, helps with mouthfeel. I'm a believer of.
Nice.
As you should be. Good job. All right. Well, these are fantastic beers.
Thanks for sharing these.
Charlie, thanks for being on the show and sending these beers. And what is it, Neil? Tell Neil thanks, too.
Yeah, hey, Neil, what's happening, man?
Yeah, give Neil Karen a shout-out, guys.
Before,
He's awesome.
Yeah,
and the entire team, like everybody across the board at Bent Paddle that I work with.
You guys are making a good beer out there.
From warehouse, packaging, like the whole brewing staff, tap room, office. Like we got an awesome crew of people to work with, and that's makes it nice to come to work.
What does it feel like?
Well, yeah, we don't know. But shout out to your whole crew there, and a thank you for the beer. Real quick, though, before we go, because I have it in my notes here. I was curious what it is. Something about a monthly infusion program that you have there. What is that?
Yes. So when I came to Bent Paddle, it was, infusions were a big thing, but it was like couple kegs at a time.
Okay.
And it was a lot to manage, and it was like buying fruit from the co-op, and ninjing, fruit or whatever ingredient you were getting.
Okay.
And it was really taken off, and it was very labor intensive, obviously. So there was a big demand for it. So we were like, well, let's just make more of it. So we started looking at getting bulk purees. We buy a lot of purees from Oregon Fruit Products. Mm-hmm. And once a month, we do anywhere from a 24-barrel to maybe 45-barrel batch of one of our base beers, and we infuse it with fruits, and we've gotten pretty creative. We also deal with San Francisco herb company, teen herb company, whatever.
Because marijuana is not legal in Minnesota.
Right. What's the weirdest thing you've infused in your time there?
Femurs.
Weirdest. Yeah. Oh boy.
Or most
That's
interesting, whatever you want to call it.
Wow, you caught me off guard
here. Oh, sorry.
What are some of the spices
I'm going to throw something out here. You
know,
should try pork rinds. If you've never done...
Yeah, I would, yeah.
Talk about glue.
Yeah. No head retention.
Yeah.
But... yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
There was one beer that we came up with. It was for a pizza company here in Minnesota, Pizza Luce.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Yeah. Beardy is.
But they have pizza joints all over Minnesota, and they were like, hey, we want to do like a beer with you guys for our summer, and it's like exclusive. It's only sold at Pizza Luce. So myself and a couple brewers and one of our sales reps, we went out and to a local bar here that supports Bent Paddle very well, Sir Ben's, if you're ever up in Duluth.
Okay, Sir Ben's.
Go have a beer there. They have a Sir Benedict's Tavern. They have a great beer selection and really good food.
Cool.
And we were just sitting there and talking, and we came up with we were going to make an Arnold Palmer beer.
Oh, interesting.
I love Arnold Palmer's, dude.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big golfer.
I have it in my refrigerator all the time.
It was like, ooh, an Arnold Palmer. That would be... And, we made it, and it was funny, because then they come there like, oh, we're going to pair it with a Korean barbecue pizza.
Wow.
We're
Okay.
like, that's not going to pair well.
Kind of sounds hella good, dude.
You're supposed to pair it with like a club sandwich and chicken strips.
Yeah. It's an idea.
Or $1 million check.
But,
yeah.
Do you guys...
And we ended up doing it again this year as one of our shoulder seasonals. It was called Tea Break, and we did it like process-wise a completely different way than we did it last year. And then I think it actually turned out better.
Okay.
So...
All right, so the infusion program...
bunch of black tea and lemon zest, and, next year... we're finalizing the calendar, but there's a couple favorites that are coming back.
Okay.
I'm excited for the Passion Fruit Pilsner.
Nice.
To come back. And that was a beer. We never really dealt with passion fruit. It was one of the owners. She was like, I really want a passion fruit beer. Okay. And it probably sat on the puree for a little bit too long.
Okay.
Contact time on that's like really short.
So
this year we cut it down and kind of found the sweet spot of it.
Nice.
Okay. All right, folks. So you can check out the Infusion Program where they're doing all sorts of different things. It's a monthly deal, it sounds like, there at Bent Paddle. You can get all sorts of different stuff. All right. My recommendations for the day.
Tell me about it right now. Are they beer related? Are they Bent Paddle related? Or are they just like in general?
I'm going straight to the cold press black.
Let's go.
Highly recommended.
It's really good. I could drink a lot of that. And I'm not a coffee beer drinker, but the fact that it had the coffee was there.
Yeah.
And usually I equate coffee character with being thin.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was thick and coffee front.
And then for me, when it gets like that, I then don't like them because they get too sweet because of the beer end. This had none of that. So of the beers we had tonight, my recommendations for our listeners is the cold press black.
Best of show.
Yeah.
I agree.
Best
all
of
good,
show
but that's
tonight. Yeah. All of them's great. IPA, wonderful. Thank you for the callback to some earthy notes balanced with the citrus. Just well done overall, young man. Thank you, Charlie. I get to call people young man now.
Charlie's like, I'm 89, dude. What do you...
No. He already told me he's in his 30s. It's my birthday month, and I just realized today that I've always called people that, but now it's actually like a thing.
Yeah.
I get to call people young man.
I've noticed that, too. I've done that a couple times.
It's I better find joy in it, because otherwise it makes me feel awful.
When they start calling you old man back, that's when you're going to change your tune.
Yeah. So, Charlie, young man, good job on these beers. Okay. Let me give a shout out to bentpaddlebrewing.com. Everybody, go check it out. If you're ever in the area, go ask for Charlie.
I'll go down to the pub.
Or Neil.
Neil at the
Charlie's like, no, ask for Neil.
Bug Neil.
Yeah. There you go. If you want to talk, my name is Neil.
Right.
If you just want to wave, my name's Charlie.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for sending all the beer and being on the program, Charlie. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks you guys for everything.
All right, dude. You have a good night. Enjoy the fall, and we hope to come try some beer at the pub one day soon. Take care, Charlie.
All right. I hope someday we can have one together.
All right,
let's
brother.
go. Right.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers.
Do you guys remember the Unfusion beer you had at the NHC in Minnesota in 2010?
I don't remember it. No.
I don't even remember going.
At club night, there was a raccoon penis.
We had him on the show.
In the bottle?
I do remember.
It was a penis bone.
How'd that
raccoons
taste?
have a penis bone.
You know how Minnesotans infuse things.
I don't know. It tasted like penis?
Wow, clearly.
It tasted like raccoon boner, dude. I mean, I don't know.
Clearly, it just tasted like any beer to you guys. Yeah. It was very memorable.
Yeah. So are you saying that we're not good at talking about infused beers?
Or
we have no credibility?
I think what he's saying is raccoons don't have tasty dicks.
I see.
Yeah, I think that they're not very flavorful.
Nothing to them.
Yeah.
I think he's a
Why-
racist.
Yeah.
Why is there a bone in the raccoon penis?
You get to ask God.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get right on that.
I mean, Jesus.
Because then you couldn't call it a boner if there
Find
wasn't a
out
bone in
this
it.
Sunday and get back to us, Bevo. What the fuck do we know?
What the fuck do you want?
Don't be rude.
Yeah, you're the producer.
Yeah. I don't know.
Don't just ask one raccoon.
Yeah.
Ask several.
Yeah.
All right, go to greatfermentations.com. They've got the largest catalog of Blickman products on the web, and their staff is some of the best trained in the business using Blickman products. They've got top-notch customer service and same-day shipping on many items. Check them out at greatfermentations.com, and be sure to like them on Facebook. That's GR8 Fermentation, at GR8 Fermentation, and that's the same for Instagram and Twitter, GR8 Fermentation. Go to greatfermentations.com and thank them for supporting the Brewing Network as much as they do. They've been really good to us. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got to wrap some things up and probably get through some more of this beer because it's tasting so good. I think the coffee beer woke me up too.
Oh, let's go.
I did get a kick on that.
I forgot to ask about that. If there's still a caffeine,
sure,
yeah.
If not, we could add some Red Bull.
We'll talk about it when we get back. Hang in there. It's The Session on Red Bull.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Check out their brand new patent-pending mash and boil 110-volt electric mashing and boiling unit. This compact all-stainless unit lets you mash, sparge, and boil just about anywhere that has a 110-volt plug. Double-wall construction adds to efficiency and safety, and a precise thermostat keeps temperatures where you want them. Unlike insulated buckets and converted coolers, multiple temperature rest mashing is easy to do, all for under $300. They also feature the Mark II work pump, a magnetic drive high-temperature pump that does the work of pumps that cost twice as much, as well as exclusive Brewer's Edge regulators and quality Keg King kegs and disconnects. Check them out today at williamsbrewing.com to brews their vast selection.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zanishev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
Segmented, demented, fermented. It's the session.
All right. Hey, thanks for sticking with us, and thanks to Bent Paddle for being with us. That was a great time tasting the beers and talking to Charlie. And also, we talked a lot about yeast today, and good time to remind you about White Labs. And they got a new class coming up, too. If you want to gain a more in-depth knowledge of yeast, join White Labs November 5th and 6th for Yeast Essentials 2.0 in Asheville, North Carolina. It's a 2-day workshop that'll explore fermentation control points, tips for maintaining optimal yeast performance, and how to develop desired yeast flavor compounds. Attendees will learn methods for off-flavor detection and sensory evaluation techniques of different strains, as well as how to properly troubleshoot different fermentation problems. But don't worry, if you can't make it to Asheville, that's not a problem. They also offer a webinar version. Just register by October 6th to take advantage of early bird pricing. Learn more about the event by visiting whitelabs.com/education. And, do better with your yeast, please.
The more you know, the better.
You know what I'm saying? Please, let's do better. Well, I just want to say again that I enjoyed those beers from Bent Paddle. And sometimes I don't know if I just get excited that I'm enjoying the interview and then the beers taste good. But I checked with everybody at the break. I was like, guys, the beers were good, right? And everybody agreed that they did a really great job.
Pretty much straight up all the time. If there's a beer that none of these. Yeah. But on some other podcasts that we've had, maybe that I wasn't a fan of, I would not say much at all.
Yeah, and I'll do that too, or I'll say random.
Talk about the recipe more than what it tastes like.
But I also am saying I'll do the same. But I also sometimes get excited and think the beer is better than it is, and then I get corrected later. Which is why I was just
no, that one had a major problem.
Yeah. I don't have the best palate in the world anyway. But these I really like.
At least by my standard, they're good.
Yeah.
Tonight your palate was great.
Okay. All right. I'm moving up in the world.
Yeah, they're great. Loved them all.
Okay. Well, that was fun. We've got to do some Twitter game results.
Let's go.
But before that, if you want to make beer that's this good, you got to pay attention to your water, too. And iDip can help you do that with the Smart Brew water testing kit that's got a revolutionary photometer system, which is the first and only on the market with its own app. So it's good for home or commercial use, and it takes great water to make great beer. This is the only meter on the market that runs water tests with no math needed on your part. Oh, thank God, iDip. Because there's no way I would ever do any water chemistry unless I could do it with no math.
It's the arithmetic that throws me.
Yeah, one of the barriers for me doing that shit. That's just
we're
too
all
confusing, dude.
We're so dumb. Email the results to the rest of your brewers, should you choose. You can post them on Facebook and let your homebrew club get the lowdown on your base water profile. It has the ability to test 40 different water quality tests. 4 come preloaded, and then more are available. Things like total alkalinity, chloride, calcium hardness, pH, sulfate, and a lot more. And you only need 4 milliliters of water for each test. So here's a Brewing Network special. Podcast listeners just enter TBN10. That's TBN10 at checkout, and you're going to save $10 on either the standard or advanced smart home testing kit. Order now at smartbrewkit.com and check it out. All right. What was our Twitter game? I remember liking it.
Our Twitter game was who should be the first guest on Jamil's new podcast, Love Strong.
The new Love Strong.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was disappointed in the replies. There weren't a whole lot of them.
No, like that there weren't a whole lot of good ones.
There weren't a whole lot of them.
No,
at all.
People are doing other things tonight.
Apparently.
That's a shame.
So I got three of the best 5.
And by best, you mean all.
Well, whatever.
3 of the best 5. I feel like that's a Brewing Network.
It's like 8, isn't it?
It's like a weird.
I like
Brewing
how
Network.
you do math.
Yeah.
That's good.
Like you are the best co-host of the one co-host that we have.
Well, hey, thanks. I do what I can.
All right.
All right. So Brian says all of the priests named in the Catholic Church sex abuse scandal, which I think there's too many. I think there's too many of them.
Yeah, but
that's a lot of guests.
Yeah,
They would not fit in this room.
How to hit on boys would not be a very good first show.
No, and as fucked up as that answer is, though, it's a little Brewing Network. We're fucked up that way.
It's true.
And he is the Pope.
Yeah.
The Pope is named in that shit, too.
Oh, shit.
The layers, guys.
I didn't even get that layer.
God, you guys are idiots.
The current
We are idiots.
Pope Francis?
The only one.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's being named as like helping to cover up all that shit.
Oh,
He's being
yeah.
asked to resign. Yeah.
That's a whole thing.
Oh.
Okay. Wait, what is it again?
The priests named in the Catholic Church sex abuse scandal.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
First guess.
It's funny how people will boycott Nike because a black guy kneels, but nobody will boycott the Catholic Church. It's weird. I don't know. It's just weird.
I hate politics on this show, but JP, that may have been the smartest thing you've ever said. Yeah.
Just trying to fit in, man. Someone else called Jason says musical guest Sugar Valley Brewer singing replies to callers' questions.
That's a great guest.
I think that would be good.
Oh, man.
I would blow my brains
He
out.
needs to do the theme song for Love Strong.
Well, absolutely. But imagine
No,
if he
because I'm
did
not going to be
replies
on the show, and it would be a song completely about my ass.
You know,
Yeah, every song is about Bev's ass.
yeah. Well, no, sometimes about her boobs.
No,
Sung to the tune of JP's an asshole. What do you mean? You got a line, don't you?
Yeah. What's this bump on my penis?
It used to be red and now it's white.
Yeah.
What does it do? Why can't I get it right?
But I guess that's asking. He has to answer the question. You've got the herpes. All right, what's next?
And then last but not least, Brady writes in and says, just Jamil, because nobody loves Jamil like Jamil loves Jamil.
That's also a good answer. I mean, how are you going to love stronger than Jamil when you're loving Jamil?
Those are the best 3 of the 5.
You got a lot of Red Bull.
Who do you love stronger than yourself?
You know what?
What would the shipping be on a case of Red Bull?
A lot. Too much.
Yeah. But you know what?
Send them the money to buy it.
Everybody wins tonight.
There we go.
Yeah, everybody wins. Thank you for participating in what I thought was a great Twitter game, JP.
Thank you very much. I worked real hard on that.
Yeah. So, everybody gets a prize. Not because everybody wins, because they all did a good job.
They all did a great job.
Yeah.
Imagine how shitty those other 2 were.
Right? Yeah, the best.
Don't tell us.
Gonna ruin. They were like, I don't know.
Poor guys.
Tasty. All right. Good game.
Thanks.
Well, if you're interested in games, you should go over to adamandeve.com.
They want to help you spice things up in the bedroom. So go to adamandeve.com. You get 50% off any item. Just use coupon code BNARMY at checkout. And when you do that, you're going to get the 50% off the item, but you're also going to get the Big O kit, a free Big O kit, which includes Climax gel, a mini vibrator, and that's it. And you
hand me a Climax.
Yeah, exactly. And you also get free shipping. So it's a limited time offer. Go over to adamandeve.com, choose a thing for 50% off. Get the Big O kit, the Climax gel, the mini vibrator. That's kind of it's kind of a deal. You save a lot of money here. Just use coupon code BNARMY, BNARMY at adamandeve.com.
Hear that, Doug?
Yeah, Doug.
Yeah, Doug.
What's Doug got to do with it?
Well, he was complaining
What's
about
Doug got to do with it?
Own it.
What's Doug than a second-hand customer?
Good job.
Thanks. But
You're no Tina, though.
No,
but motherfucker, I am Ike. If you keep talking to me like that, Ike Turner, left hand. Let's go.
All right, I believe next week on the program we're going to have Concord's own Epidemic Ales coming in. They're going to talk about the Oktoberfest beer that they brewed for our Concord Oktoberfest.
Nice.
You can go to ConcordOktoberfest.com, by the way, and get your tickets now, or just get information and join us on October 12th and 13th. But yeah, Epidemic Ales did a beer for it, a Dunkel, a Dunkelbach.
Dunkelbach?
Not Dunkel Weizen, because I'm not, not
or
a
not
fan.
a Dunkelbach, but not a Doppelbach, not a Dunkelweizen,
but a Dunkelbach.
Okay, got it.
Correct. So that it doesn't. I wasn't into the estery thing, so I asked if they would do the Dunkelbach, and they did. And they're going to come in and talk about it with you, JP.
Oh, me, I love me.
Next week's program.
I appreciate that.
And then they're going to have that beer ready for our Oktoberfest.
Great.
All right, sounds good to me. Are they bringing it? Is it ready?
No.
Okay.
They're just talking about it.
Okay, that's cool.
So actually, what I would like you to do, Beardy, if you can.
What? Homework?
Yeah.
Well,
so
work.
They're going to talk about their Oktoberfest, but you brew a nice Oktoberfest.
Oh, thank you.
And
so brew one.
I have a week.
Yeah, and have it ready.
Whip one up.
I wonder if you'd be willing to do a short segment on how to brew a great Oktoberfest and give a recipe if you can, and just talk about some of the techniques that you messed with.
Like a fest beer?
Yeah.
Because mine was more of a fest beer, not a Meritzen.
Then fest beer, perfect.
Yeah,
Mine was more of a fest beer than a Meritzen.
Fest beer is perfect.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be, a recipe, some techniques that you like to use, and I thought it would kind of round out the theme of the show and give our listeners something cool. Every now and then when I see a topic come across our desk, I do try to think which one of you is good at it.
Try.
And in 5 years, this is the first time you thought
one
that there was one that I could be good at.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's
You
possibly.
assume he thinks so.
Yeah. Possibly.
The best part is he won't even be here to tell.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're good at it or not.
Right.
Oh, but he'll listen.
Yeah.
Will he?
Yeah, every word. I'll be hanging on every word.
I just sent him a transcript.
All right. Then as far as you're concerned, I'll be ready next Monday.
So,
I'm going to kill it.
And now here's poor JP, because this happens, and everyone's like, yeah. And then JP's at the helm, and he's like, so did you do your homework? And everyone's like, no, fuck no. Why? Justin's not here.
It'll go great.
I am the substitute teacher. I expect everybody in the room to get up and sharpen their pencils at the same time. Every time.
Yeah. Do you think that's a good idea? Would you do that?
Yeah, I could definitely do that.
I just think you make a good beer and it'd fit in the topic, and then listeners get like a full on here's what Beardy would do.
Right.
WWBD.
Yeah. WWBB. What would Beardy
brew?
Bongle.
Bongle.
Butt fuck. I don't know.
All right. So all of that and more on next week's show. And that's all I got. Okay. I'm at GABF coming up.
What?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Lucky you.
When is that? Is it really, though? It's next week. It starts next week.
A week from Thursday.
Starts the 20th.
That's right. So the Brewing Network will be there, and we will be bringing you live broadcasts from the Brewer Studio Pavilion all week long, which that's the panels that we do there, plus the awards ceremony on Saturday the 22nd, the morning of the 22nd. That usually starts around 10 a.m. All of this is available on thebrewingnetwork.com. You can check it out. So we're going to be at GABF all week. It'll be my birthday the Wednesday before the 19th.
Woot woot.
Oh, the Brewers just exception.
So, Bevo, I don't know that I'll be setting us up for a week of success. With my birthday.
My birthday.
It's my birthday.
It's my birthday.
Yeah.
As long as by I don't know if I'll be setting us up for a week of success, you don't mean you won't help me set up.
Oh, of course I'll help you set up. But I just don't set us up for a week. I'm always there. Whatever shape I'm in is another story. But I'm always there.
You're going to be in... it's going to be no different than any other GABF because you celebrate GABF like it's your birthday.
I know, you're
every single year.
The shape you'll be in is probably bloated.
The shape you'll be in is that time that you and I took a picture on the floor sleeping together.
I see. Once you're at 11, there's nowhere place to go.
But if we get the booth all set up on Wednesday, then we can...
You know he's going to get fucked up with it.
If you and Bev get the booth set up on Wednesday...
Sam will be there.
No.
I know, that's the worst part.
Yeah, if you and Bev get the booth set up on
No, the worst part is Sam and Justin are going to feed off of each other's stupidity.
On Wednesday. I did get invited to a Wu-Tang show.
Oh, my God. Are you serious?
But I'm starting to think that the person who invited me had it wrong because it was like a brewery rep, and he's like, hey, we're having a Wu-Tang show
I
on
read
Wednesday.
there is
I was like,
something
oh, that
like
sounds
that.
great. But he's like, oh, it's at the venue like across the street from Falling Rock or something. So he's like, I'll give you tickets. Do you want tickets? Well, yeah, of course I want a ticket. But now I'm thinking, like, does that just mean they're just playing Wu-Tang?
I've been to that bar.
No.
Is there like
I
a
think
venue?
Yeah, and if there is, I might actually want to go to GBF right now.
Because I think I got tickets to Wu-Tang for my birthday.
I think there is such a thing.
I want to
Ted, right?
That would be kind of a...
I love
I
Wu-Tang,
think so.
dude.
Yeah.
Do you like fucking with them?
I think that's a real thing.
Really?
I love fucking with them.
But he gave it to me the same way.
Uh-oh. Well, now Jip wants in.
Wow.
Jip wants into my birthday.
So now,
for sure.
Now Bevo is definitely setting up the booth on her own.
Sweet.
Because we go and party with Wu-Tang.
You guys go have fun with that.
Me and Sam.
Melvin Brewing presents members of the Wu-Tang Clan in Denver at the Summit Music Hall on Wednesday, September 19th, 2018.
Okay. Yeah, I got tickets.
That's not the place across Falling Rock.
No. That's what I thought, too. Because I was like literally across the street.
It's up the street a bit or something.
No.
Probably,
Across the street is just a bar.
Yeah,
I went there and I
yeah.
bought french fries.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like not the cool members, though? Or
oh, shit. Well, I should have looked it up. I mean,
how many members are in the clan?
How many members are alive?
I was going to say, didn't some die?
Oh.
Well, a couple died. Yeah, I mean, ODB died.
He did?
Yeah.
Big Baby Jesus?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, a while ago, man. For show.
Was there a
What'd he die of?
Killer Bees?
I think it was like the Beatus or something like that. Well, here, how many answers do you want, first of all?
Yes.
So, Raekwon, the chef.
Oh.
Jizza.
Yeah.
Kill a Priest, Young Dirty Bastard. I don't know who
Kill
that
a
is.
Priest, not B.
DJ Symphony, DJ Chones, and E-Turn.
Damn.
So basically Raekwon and the Jizza. But Kill a Priest, I think it's like Wu-Tang adjacent.
Okay.
But, that's it. So nobody really, but I don't know. Raekwon is cool. He has some good albums. The Jizza, he's okay.
Do you think they'll rap me happy birthday if I?
No, I don't think they'll do that at all.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm kind of a big deal.
You should ask.
We can make that happen.
Tell him, listen, young man, it's my birthday.
We'll get Ted in the headlock. He'll make it happen.
Yeah, I wonder how much they paid for this show. Cause, I mean. Obviously, if you want to do the Wu-Tang, you got to get the RZA, Method Man at least, right?
But they didn't.
But you can't.
You can't.
It's too expensive.
You're right.
So you get Raekwon the chef.
I like that there's the a la carte menu for Wu-Tang. Because how many members? What do you want?
I mean, like any group, like with us, where it's like, okay, well,
the
Brewing Network. Well, we can't afford all of you, so how? Right. Well, here's everyone's tier prices.
Exactly.
Well, we're right about
mix and match.
That's it. That'd be a good scale for just anything. Like on a scale of RZA to you God. How expensive is this item?
Yeah,
it's probably about the Ghostface killer.
You're in the Ghostface range. Yeah,
which Ghostface. That dude.
That would be good.
I like Ghostface Killer, dude.
Did you say he didn't say he's there?
No, just Raekwon and Jizza.
Okay.
And like I said, Kill a Priest.
Yeah. Oh well, what else I got to do on my birthday? It'll be fun.
You won't make it there. Don't worry.
No, I'll be at the Falling Rock.
Yeah, for sure.
Where they do sing "Happy Birthday" to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I will see you at the Great American Beer Festival. Stay tuned to thebrewingnetwork.com for all of that. And make sure you watch the awards and cheer on your your friends and your favorite breweries.
Do it.
And then by the time I come back, it'll be just about time for Oktoberfest. So get ready for all that.
Oh my God.
For sure. And
oh my God,
it'll be great.
I think she's going to miss you.
All right, Jip, get us out of here, would you?
You better be ready.
All right, get out of here.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh. Thank you to our show sponsor, More Beer. You can get absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home by going to morebeer.com. Charlie from Bent Paddle Brewing, located in Duluth, Minnesota, sent some beer out, and we drank it and enjoyed it. Go to bentpaddlebrewing.com for more details. Join JP, Beverly, Terrence, and Taryn for the Ears Up 5th anniversary show, September 29th. Starting at 11 a.m., we'll be broadcasting for 5 straight hours with an additional 3 hours of our world-famous drinking secret show. Go to earsuppodcast.com for all the details that haven't been written yet. Get on the Brewing Network for some good beer insight and homebrew info, and follow Nate Smith at Nathan Homebrew, Mike McDowell at Tasty McD. Warren is stuck over at Another Beardy. Jason Petros knows Twitter is dead, so he's on Instagram at Major Jip, and you can find Bevo there as well at Beverly Moore. Be sure to find the Brewing Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
JP's an asshole. Justin's a nice guy, and when